they've now got under their belt. Take a look at PaperX's economy. 3 players not going to be able to buy. In fact, coming into this one, Benkai having to play a Spectre, the others. As we said, you don't really get to bridge the gap with ultis.
Okay.
That's one way to do it.
We've seen that 2 days in a row.
You know, when you look at this situation for PaperX as well, the tragedy is they've got every ult online except for Forsaken's, which is the one they'd really want
Are we
in
gonna
this round.
change channels?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind because
yes.
you've got Marshall. I would like to see
No,
him
no,
try
no.
and take either
Ladies
the battle on
first.
A-Long or go for the one on C-Long, because it's something that's been faced quite regularly, and then challenge for the orb. Because if he can get one kill, get the orb, that's his Blade Storm for the round, then he can change it. Because we've seen, literally one of the clips that was shown in the early video was him acing around with the knives. He's fantastic with them. The thing is though, I don't think that's something that's going to be given up easily. They're almost trying to bait the shot out of RB so somebody could try and swing onto it. It does not work. As said, he may miss a couple, but then he makes up for it.
Yeah, I love that he keeps his dash in his back pocket just so he can go for these super quick peeks around the corner, in fire and out in one swift movement. This is going to be tough for RB, but luckily he's got those updrafts, and it's so hard to connect the shots. He's going to be tagged up down to 13 health, but sitting there with an operator. He just needs to connect one bullet. And his teammates here to back him up. Blade Storm now online, no updraft to play with. He's being closed in on, he's low HP, but he's going out wide. Jing luckily takes him down, but Mako's already made it onto the site. He's backing up the rest of his squad with a 3K. This guy just does not miss. And Tom, that is going to be 8 rounds in the first half for DRX.
I genuinely think that Marco's not even looking for the tournament win. He's looking straight for the MVP. Man is 19 and 8 in the first half. Incredible performance. And honestly, I want to know if the desk has anyone they think can actually beat this man at this point.
We'll be asking that question in a second. Doug, I just can't help but notice Justice just looked so
What is with her again?
unhappy that entire half.
The vibes aren't great.
Not great.
Everyone looks normal.
I'm gonna give you an
And
analogy
she always
to
has
get
something.
The feeling that I'm feeling right now.
Spit.
Okay.
It's like you get home.
There are 2
after a
girls
long
that
day at
always have
school, work,
something.
whatever it is.
I
and
like
oh
the
my God, there's
second one
cookies
more.
in the
I
middle of
told
the table.
you.
You bite in, you got these beautiful chocolate chip cookies, but they're raisins.
Ugh.
This one
They're
has too
raisins,
much
they're not
energy
chocolate
for
chip.
me.
You have been debated. And that's exactly what PaperX has done to me this first half.
Green,
100% win
yellow.
rates since January the 1st. They have some of the highest attacking rates in the entire region on Haven. They're undefeated, and they come out and they do that. They put that on display for us. I'm disappointed because I know what they're capable of.
Yeah, you know, we highlight Forsaken. We talked about him at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I
well,
just
for good
wanted to
reason,
say,
right?
how
Like,
did they lose the
Forsaken
first half?
has made quite a name for himself, but you're seeing some of these
After,
even,
like, they said,
minor
like,
mistakes, like
PaperX is
dashing
the
onto
best
C,
team.
or excuse me, dashing onto A,
Coming
and
from
while you're dashing, not checking
that
your
region.
50.
I don't
Right?
even
Like
know what
little
they're
things
coming
like
from.
that, doesn't check it. There's nothing, there's no layer to make sure he's getting into
Want
the,
me to check it
into
so
the
you
site
can focus
easily,
on
and he
watching?
just gets popped. It's those little things
It's
that have been
alright.
really disappointing
If
for
you
me.
want to, you can check it.
I have a big note here. It's in like capital letters on my card here, and it's, you know, Mako's just been absolutely dominating them. But whilst we can highlight Mako and RB for just going nuclear, and we can do that, if you are throwing players in one at a time and giving them freebies, it's going to be easy for mechanically apt players like Mako, like RB, to be able to capitalize on that. I see John go C-Long 4 rounds in a row by himself, no tradability, no refragability whatsoever. And Mako's
Region,
like
Asia,
dead,
Pacific.
dead. Of course, because
okay.
no one's able to trade on PaperX for some reason on this half. This is unusual. I don't
I forgot to
understand
start
why we're
streaming
getting
notice.
this. But for DRX, this is going to be a walk in the park for them because both of these teams are attacking
There's
side and they
something
move on to
missing.
their
Yeah.
attack.
Alas, poor PRX. Not playing their best. This is surely a test. Let's see how the rest of the half plays
You
out.
almost
Oh my
hit it.
gosh, I was really on a roll there.
Was that off the top?
That was, I actually kind of took notes, but I was like on a roll.
That was still sick.
Yeah,
that
but
was
then I
dope.
ran out. Rest test. Help me.
Man, the chat hates this one caster
Best?
because of that stuff that she
No.
says.
No, okay, my bad.
No.
Or hates this
no,
player, maybe
no.
over.
Okay,
But
no.
everyone says like
All right,
cringe,
sorry, I'm
cringe,
giving you
stop.
rhyming words. Less.
Doug is just
Lest Mako
shaking
continue
his-
He's
what he's doing.
Yeah.
Mako's
It's gonna be a problem.
blessed.
Oh, Ooh,
People slowly
Doug
start
is
sleeping.
so over us.
Yeah,
Doug
I didn't
is
mind
so
that.
You want to
over our
delete
cringe.
users
But I believe
that were
that,
inactive for over
Tom was
90
saying,
days.
like, can anyone
Numbers of
outdo
users to delete
Mako? I mean, right now, he's just on
4,810.
fire,
Yeah,
Doug.
I don't know
What?
how anyone does, right? Like he, as a controller,
Ah,
man,
you
I
don't
keep
feel
looking
like
at the
it's on
stats,
stream.
and then I remember he plays Omen. Like he's on
Wait,
Omen
wait.
right now, and he's just having his
Do
way
you
with
want to
Paper
delete
Rex.
Yeah.
users
All
that
right,
were
well, let's hand it
inactive for
over
over
to
90
Mitchum.
days?
Sorry, all my rhymes
Number of
super
users
failed
to
there.
delete
I was trying to give them a cute. You know what? I ain't
4,810.
creative.
Delete
Mitch and
users
Tom
from
just take it
where?
away. I'm done.
Stream hours.
I guess it's still not the worst nickname we've had.
Yeah, we can't say that one.
Yeah, we can't. Not on it. Not on it. No, we'll let Sue
I
tweet
mean, I
it out
don't.
again.
Yeah.
What's your name? Mitch, Tom, but then there's
Biz,
a B,
Tom
and then
Mitch.
so there's something you can connect there, which we're probably not allowed to say.
I can
well,
just
we've
do
got
it
ourselves
here.
a
Okay.
slight connection
I want
issue,
to
so
do
we're
it.
just going to be sort of talking a little bit about what we've seen so far in
No,
this one.
actually, we're getting right back into the
Oh,
game.
never
Tom.
mind.
Never,
Yeah,
never
get
mind
off
all
me,
that
get
stuff.
off this.
This guy's
Get off
face
this.
I have
off the screen.
66%
Get the
used
players
on the
back in.
extensions also,
15
right?
seconds left on the clock. We're
Booster.
counting down. Of course, we fix
Huh?
our errors very quick. We're not
Booster.
time clock. 8
I
to
don't
4,
think I have
round
booster, but
13.
I'm
We're
drinking
getting right on
Sorry,
into
Shade.
things. And
Oh,
we got a
okay.
lot of ghosts in play for Paper Rex. They're going to be coming
You're
in
gonna
on the
drink
defensive
energy
side, but
when
I think they've
you're
got a bit of
playing?
aggression planned.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They're going for
I'm
the
gonna
wall bangs off
prepare.
the back. I like it. Trying to predict where some of the players are. It hasn't worked, and you can just see them running straight down in towards A. There is currently nobody there. There is some utility to try and stop them, but well, I'm telling you now, it's probably not going to do the trick. Straight into the site. We already spot them first,
Oh.
but he has a little trip set up just to kill a Barbie in the corner. Wonderful stuff.
This could be a little bit tricky now. This paranoia in play for Mako comes in at the perfect time, and it actually catches Zest. Oh no!
Oh,
He's gone
no.
down to it. Paper Rex. Look,
The kills are mine.
in a
You
pretty good
shall
spot
fall.
now. Mako, though, has been huge in the Omens and pistol rounds. They always show up, but this time, Jing deals with him right away. Things falling apart here for the attacking side. They need a hero to step it up, and Buzz does a good job with 2. Here comes the Frenzy, getting the tag, stopping the heal, but there's
Okay.
more than enough players for Paper Rex to make it work.
I'm
They'll
interested
find
because
this
I
round,
never
and that
saw
is definitely a lifeline, one they're more than
uh,
happy to walk away with, getting 5 on the board.
PRX playing.
Yeah, I like that. I like.
Oh,
I
it's
like that
PRX
from
and
Benkai. Oh, yeah.
DRX.
It's something that it will likely not work again, but if it wins you a
I know
pistol
that
round
it's
in a spot
Paper
like
Rex
this,
and
it can get you right back
what is
into the map.
DRX? What does
I
that
do think
stand
as
for?
well, just the fact that DRX are
The-
like a slight error. It's always going to be a problem. Like that paranoia does actually catch the majority of the players on the other side, but unfortunately, Forsaken quick enough to react, and from then it's almost just a death ball coming in from Paper X, just like trading out effectively and taking home the pistol.
Yeah, we'll give a lot of credit to Mako
cool
though, in
shots.
that one. I think that's the first time I've seen him even slightly miss a piece of utility.
It's a big flash.
It
you
is
know?
a pretty big flash, I'll say that. Yeah, 8 to 5. Jumping on into round number 2, and there was a world that I could have seen where DRX come in and force play confident and just
Yeah.
try to roll them. But they have played this respectfully. They're
I think
taking
they
classics.
did that versus
Frenzy.
Zeta, right?
I believe they did, and it makes sense. You know, this is a confident team that even though they don't give away
Dragon
advantages,
Eggs.
they are willing to take a few risks, but not this
They
time.
were winning 11-1.
That's the big difference.
Dragon Eggs.
Oh,
It makes a
cool.
pretty big difference because you can see letting it slip here, then Paper Rex hits 7, and things start to get a bit scary. Let's see if the pistols can do any damage. Even up against the shields, it's just going to be so hard
Ooh.
to take them down. Evidently not for Zest. He's got 1. But that's where things will end. A plant as well as a
Yeah.
kill. It's not the end of the world for a full eco, but nothing to write home about.
Yeah, I'm liking Benkai's Cypher setups. They're just annoying, and that's all you can really hope for if you're a Cypher. Just make it so that you can slow down your opponents, especially in a round like that. Survive long enough that the rotations can come through. And now they're going to go into this one as a bonus round. Now, I'll be interested to see what he actually buys up, if it's just going to be maybe
Baby.
a dropped pistol
Mm.
from another teammate.
You
and
need
they'll
to pick a
just try
team.
and save back into things. But this is where we basically expect things
Oh,
to change
wait,
for
what?
DRX. They're coming in with the rifle. Stacks also already has a rolling
What do
you
focus.
think
it's gonna
Bad
be?
enough already. He's been farming up those
Mm.
orbs, so yeah, chances are this should be around for
I'm
the
gonna
Marines.
support DRX because of
Certainly with
Buzz.
the weaponry, you even
Why
see
did you delete the
it's
video that I
favoring the
that you
attack.
sent me?
But that's where Paper X will come in with some interesting ideas, and right away, a lot of aggression on A. 4 players
Well,
were
I
stacked
saved
up.
it
They tried to
already.
take fights early, no one's there. And so they're gonna smoke it off and leave Mind Freak to
Delete
hold
it, I'm
this
gonna send you another one.
control. Actually, he's got a teammate coming.
Send me another
I'll
one and I
decide to
think
push
about it.
this.
Wow.
Yeah, they're building up, taking that extra control. Got themselves the paranoia, also rotating in a third
I'm
player
eating
as
right
well.
now, so
Basically pushing into this little trap that's currently set up for Paper X, and because they've used the further back player almost to try and bait things in, and he just shot his own teammate. I think a little bit of confusion coming out there. Well, DRX eventually just trade out quite effectively.
Not the cleanest of rounds.
Yeah, his mind freaked out on that one, you could say.
It definitely did. Well,
Oh, yeah.
DRX are happy to pick this one up and pretty cleanly at that. Just one player lost, and it's RB on the way through. Those things, these things happen. These things happen. You know, when I look at Paper X, they have those weak weapons. I like the idea. The setup was disgusting. I mean, the fact that you have the
Why did he
paranoia
shoot
from
at
Mind
Jet
Freak,
though?
he's
I'm
tucked in the
confused.
corner. They take initial contact with Jet. Because Forsaken is there, and he's the only one peeking and destroying the drone, you kind of start to think, oh, maybe he's just alone in this position. You clearly see they do not expect a player on short after they've spotted Mako as well. So the setup was good, and we'll leave it there.
Yeah, we'll also see what would have happened if they actually had weaponry as well.
Technical
it's a very different scenario from normal. Now, the unfortunate fact is, even though that was somewhat of a bonus, the buy that's about to come back up for Paper X is still not a particularly good one. I'm hoping that you're going to have Forsaken actually come into this one with a rifle, but one away from his Bladestorm. He gets a kill, gun goes over, you basically have yourself a full buy going into this round.
I don't know
And
if
they
the
also have
sound is
some other
loud enough
ultimates
for the
that are very,
stream.
very close. The thing is that Rolling Thunder is still available, and I
okay.
feel like that's almost by design for
I'm gonna
DRX.
check it in a
Let's
second.
not use that in a round that we can win comfortably anyway. Let's use it in a round that will basically give them, I guess, the pathway to win the game.
Yeah, well, we've got another tech pause coming in here. Stax needs a new desk. No, I'm only kidding. It's going to be a quick one.
He needs one per half.
Yeah, where's my attacking desk, bro? What the hell? That'd be an
He
interesting.
has stacks of them at home.
Oh, God. Well, now I regret making that joke. Okay, well, when we jump back into things, as you said, you know, Paper X are going to be coming through with a decent amount of weaponry, but yeah, there are weaknesses there. It's possible to make that work on the attack, and we've seen it before. On the defense, though, those weaknesses are going to be something that DRX try to lean on hard.
Yeah, well, even just by the small amount we can see within the map, I assume, again, this is going to be a very aggressive position. Like I said, basically what I want to see is either Forsaken grab the orb, then hand the gun over to someone else, or just go for those headshots. And that's the thing. He is a win condition for this squad. He always has been. Some of the games that we saw them compete in last time, where they actually managed to battle versus some of the better teams within the tournament, like all the way back at Masters, a lot of it came down to him having an incredible performance. And we know that he can. Right now, he's bottom of the board for his team. And as said, if that's one of your win conditions, that's your superstar. That's the guy that pops off. That's the guy that's in all the clips. He can't be at the bottom of the board. I know it almost sounds like a bit of a harsh statement, especially when a lot of the time on the attack, his job is to dash into angles and take the space. So I think on the
Hello,
defense,
this is Paper X versus DRX. Insane till now. PRX needs to come back here. They need to win this one.
You can make it a bit louder.
Yeah, the problem is some fool.
So much value from.
Oh, you cannot do that.
Short, Jing picking up one.
Now I'm gonna
fade out, give
put
up the
it on
control on the back of that man
100
advantage now in defender's hands.
20%.
Unfortunately, no weapon to be reclaimed, and because of the current setup, they almost have to try and re-aggress and do a little bit more. These duelists need to be popping if they're going to have a chance to win the round. They might actually be able to catch them by surprise. Look how far up they've gone! They've pushed all the way in. They know he's in the corner. He's pulling out a drone. Who's expecting anybody to go back through short? Still, though, the trades are good. Keeping it back into a 3 versus 2. They don't expect re-aggression from Divine. They are just fighting this entire corner of the map.
Okay,
and it might have had some weaknesses in this purchase, but they make it work fantastically well.
Yeah, really clean stuff for them. Coming into this round, you know, you got to go for some aggression in a round like that. You got to try to take space, because otherwise, if you sit back, once they figure out, oh, hey, Seaside's actually only got a sheriff. You know, they're exploding on that. They're taking them down. And so instead, they take the fight right to them, and it works out gorgeously. Divide getting the double here. The re-aggression was not expected out of RB.
No, of course not.
It's exactly what Paper X need, though. Some of these plays you just pull out at the last moment, full confidence, swing in. You can't do it every round, but it's what how DRX started their defensive side as well. Remember, we had a bunch of rounds where these guys were going aggressive, taking these duels. Hell, I don't think I saw a single round where RB wasn't either pushing short or pushing a long. Well, I might have seen a few, but that's where they all went mid and spammed a wall or something like that and tried to push down together. The aggression's been really nice to look at so far over on the defensive side, and Paper X with a good display of it now force their opponents into a corner a little bit.
Yeah, I think the only worry for me for Paper X is Firstly, DRX have always been very good at defaulting. I think that catching them off guard like that was a bit of a surprise. I don't think that will happen too many times. And the problem with this sort of composition is a lot of the time you like to do what was on the other side. Like, you'll take some map control, you'll battle for it sometimes, you'll put aggressively like that sometimes, but then you'll have these more passive holds, like, for example, a few rounds later where RB was playing the operator from the side. The issue with the current composition for Paper X, they don't have anywhere near as much to play with. Like, you don't have yourself Killjoy utility to try and get you back in. You don't have yourself stacks to have all of these sort of little pops of utility to sort of make the space if you need to retake. In fact, the retakes on the other side would still revolve around either a paranoia being popped and then someone running in and killing everyone. So you almost still have to have this aggression for Paper X in the majority of the rounds. So if it's like one and done or 50-50, DRX win the map.
Yep, that's a really good point. I think stacks is the key element. Having that
they're already going again.
The players are trapped. Jing has no choice but to continue forward. The Hunter's Fury will at least trade out, taking down Buzz. There's a flank coming through. Mind Freak's got the spike, and RB is just trapped
I guess
on
they're
long.
just distracted.
Paranoid up as well. A
guess.
gorgeous round from Paper X. We
happened.
complement the aggression on the defensive side, but they have just taken it to a
But,
whole nother level.
Yeah, behind and
insane.
front.
And now RB, he's
halfway
left to try and pick up the pieces,
on the
70
heaven
HP,
and
he's locked in.
Yeah,
He's got two
exactly.
players just sat up high. They're going to
It's like
try
a
and play from different headshot angles, so a transition of the peak, and he's not even going to look
Yeah,
in the
well,
right
nice.
direction, not expecting them to be there. I like the adaptation
I mean,
of
they
the Paper X, because
sacrificed two
you look at just the
players
initial two
to
players
let the
running up
Omen
there,
kill them
insane.
from
Like,
behind.
that's insane.
yeah,
That's
that's
not a
good
good
though.
play.
They're in
But
a
the
save
fact that
now.
the flank was so fast, because the rest of the players on DRX are like, ah, we got him this time, and then they get killed in the back because they don't know he's coming.
I mean, they called attack pause. The entire point of that was so that they could figure out how to stop them from taking the control that has been fought for on both sides of the spike. You look at that short play, they thought the Nano Swarm would be the answer, and it got there as fast as it damn well could, but they just went running through. And with the Hunter's Fury to back them up in the mid flank, it makes sense why they're playing so
Forsaken.
aggressive. That's DRX. They came in, they're like, all right, we've got a plan, and you just got ruined.
he's gotta be
Paper
careful.
X, need to be careful of this Blade Storm for sure. It's coming up, but Mind Freak's gonna slip in through the Cloud Burst.
Oi.
Only one to be found though. The trades come in quickly, and DRX are now ahead.
Yeah, this is a round just stacked with ultimates for DRX. They may not have the weaponry, but they're managing to retrieve it. Jing dissipates within seconds, and then the trade comes through. Instead, it's left all on to Buzz, trying to clutch this one out. Just a pistol in
wow,
hand,
what the fuck
and
just
it's not quite going to be enough. 38 HP. An incredible
Yeah.
attempt for DRX.
As well for the
but Paper
like
X will
save.
hold.
They almost killed
Paper
everyone.
X come into this series, and I don't really know who to pin as favorites. I'm glad that we're ending up. DRX, they come ahead by quite a bit, I suppose, in a lot of
Did he
people's
shoot at a
eyes. The
teammate
hype
again?
around Paper X has been immense. Still, though, there's no secret that they're not coming in as
feel like-
the top dogs here, but
Oh,
they're
no,
making
wait.
it look like
Once it was
they're here to
Paper
compete.
X
DRX
and
were
once it was
insane on the attack.
DRX.
And look at that match, the
I feel
round
like both
history.
teams are fucking
5 out of
high
the 6
right now.
rounds so far going to Paper X, and it's been the adaptations. It's not like they're just getting lucky or have these little corner
Lucky.
plays that aren't being checked. They
Not
have
a
got a
technical fault.
consistent and constantly changing game plan that's getting them the wins.
Do you have your
I'm
mic
loving
closer?
it. And now they're coming up against DRX on a full buy, so it's going to be a little bit
I
difficult.
do.
Bigger challenge for sure.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is going to more come down to how DRX actually adapt. Because right now, Paper X are doing a lot of things that are incredibly surprising. Like, if you're used to playing, like, incredibly well-structured, slow Valorant, you have these defaults, you have your set plays, and then you go to do your set play, and there's someone in a smoke stood there waiting with a rifle when they know
What are you
you're
using?
against pistols. When
Huh?
you have them use this
What are
Empress
you
to just
using?
run back in
No.
and escape out of there, and while he's escaping, the other player
You know
runs
that I
back
can
through on
just
the timing
join
to catch
stream
you
and
off guard.
see?
That's
You
what this
better be
looks like right now.
honest.
DRX are trying to adapt, trying to come up with nice little set plays, and then they're going, sorry, you're not allowed in. Right? The bodyguards come through it. You don't know what to do in that scenario. You don't know how to react. The worry, though, is that round was still incredibly close, even off just the small
I
pieces
see
that were there. That was
everything.
2 ultimates and pistols, and they almost
Maybe
win it.
if you
38
choose
HP
slowly,
is
it
the only
doesn't
difference
help.
from that round going in the other direction. So it
I'm
means
still
that
gonna
in
notice that.
comparison to what we saw from
Without
the 6 rounds that DRX
me.
were able to win, there isn't a big bank sat
Come
there
here,
where
then
you
you
can
get
buy for the
some.
next 2 rounds, then have ultimates to back you up. Well, the ultimates on Paper X side suck. So
Mola.
you don't have the same wiggle room.
Mola.
You have to keep winning these rounds, and
Oh, it's
well,
not
hopefully for
Mola.
them, they need to win them a little bit
Oi.
cleaner.
Man, chill.
Time for the camera. Conceal the oh, where'd he go? Where'd he go? There he is. He's back.
What is happening, by the way? It was 8-4, right?
Going down again. You know,
8-4 for DRX, and now it's 9-9.
Yeah, you did this yesterday as well, and then we started getting a load, and
Pauza
I called it at the
technica
time, and then you decided to do it again.
Yeah, I was feeling cocky today, Tom.
You feel cocky every day.
Yeah,
that's what I've realized.
I know.
You're way too overconfident.
I'm gonna be right someday. But yeah, at this point, I'm sure DRX will be taking a moment to really, really put some thought into this next round.
Away from my face.
They're going to put all their economy on the line. They're at 9-9. PaperX can steal that victory back out from under their feet. And you know, this was looking incredibly good for DRX. They come in, sure, they lose the pistol, but they even won their buy-up in the third round. And with the 8-4 half they already had, it should be clean for them, but not so much. We got some info. Okay, go on, Tom.
Meanwhile,
it's another rollback,
chocolate
unfortunately.
I'm done.
Client minimized while the players were actually running in towards the site, so it is going to be 9-8 to DRX. They're going to come in with the pistols once again, and we're going to have to replay the previous round. So having a few issues. It's all been sorted in terms of how things have gone in terms of the rules. So that round will be replayed. There'll be another attempt for DRX to try and do as much as they could with those pistols, with those ultimates, and see if they can do some damage. Because that's the thing that I wanted to highlight going into the round itself, is that weaponry-wise, they're going to be in a really bad spot, but that ult stack up from DRX is a terrifying force. Like, not only do you have yourself a Blade Storm, Rolling Thunder, you got the lockdown, which we actually saw them use in an afterplant position previously, but they're also one away from the 2 remaining ults. So a 5 ult round, it may sound silly, using five ults in one round, Tom, that's ridiculous. If you can win it and set your economy up and destroy the economy of PaperX, 100% worth it.
Yeah, they can definitely get out of here with a huge amount of damage. Again, though, the challenge is going to be resetting into it. Do you run the same strategy again, or do you go somewhere else? Last time we saw the brakes be pumped by PaperX. It certainly didn't have the same pace out of them coming into the replay. It's also a pretty tough position for the players. You know, it's not easy to keep being bouncing back and forth like that. But like we said, this is a team in DRX that have shown
something happened with Moss.
Again that they are able to keep themselves composed, not
Everyone
just
is showing
winning. And that's one of the hardest things. You get overconfident, you start to give away advantages, and even at 11-1 in the game the other day, these guys, they were playing it like it was match point for the other team. They were trying to make a comeback happen at 11-1 advantage. Now as we come back into this, PaperX back down to 8. They're not equalized up, but they get a second chance at this round, and I'm sure they're going to look at this in a positive light, because they lost a lot in the previous. They survived with one player, and as you said, it was what, 38 HP or 68? Yeah. It was a very low amount of health, 38. And so now coming into this one, they'll hope they can win this a little cleaner.
Get out of my way.
But they're not changing the pace. I like this. Straight down. Why? About to come into pressure. This time he does lose the battle with the pistol. That's the site completely lost. And remember, they've got this Blade Storm. Now for the opposing team, it almost looks like a retake scenario, but remember how many ults are currently still online.
You should run.
The plan to safe, down goes the lockdown for DRX. Paranoia ready for Mako. He's hearing steps, he's contemplating firing it off and trying to take these players down. And he knows they'll be making a step forward any moment. Now Rolling Thunder coming through. That's a great connection, but Mako can't see a thing. He's taken down by Jing, who gets a double, even stunned up. PaperX are on their way back in, and with weaker weapons, most of these players don't stand a chance. Stax goes forward for one, and RB's all alone. He's got a 1v1 for a moment, but with the classic in hand, it's not an easy fight to win. In the end, it's not that much of a change in what we saw happen previously.
Yeah, but this time they lost more
They'll have 2 players surviving this.
Now not a technical pause. Are we gonna redo that again?
A lot more ultimates were actually burnt up in the attempt. So
you know,
again,
like my mouse,
it's not that
something
different
happened.
a result. You also see the Rolling Thunder go out, and well, it's just
God.
ability to correct, but also his leer, which is not something I ever thought I'd say, that his leer saved his life there. Just being able to blind him up in the corner.
You're going to have a message, man. You're going to have a message after this one. Leer MVP.
Leer MVP. Yeah, the Leer was the best PC utility in that entire round.
I've seen many rounds like that. I remember
why do you have to be so high?
The Leer was just amazing for all the assists on the walkout. God, been a while since we've seen that kind of impact come through. Right, 9-9 as we get back into things. The full buy up for both teams. Same scenario for DRX as we had previously set up. They're investing all their economy here and now, and we're fighting for the lead.
Exactly.
Someone's about to hit double digits, and PaperX, they're not looking for that same early aggression that has been a staple of this defensive side so far. Instead, they're holding back. The problem here is Forsaken with the op. Scoped in, and RB takes that one easily. Great control. He's just running it down.
Hello,
The line is so good, and they're so confident that it connects.
They're actually trying to continue.
What are they
technical
doing?
pass.
I mean,
Reina's
towards the
headphones
seaside, but they've
didn't work.
eliminated everybody along the way. The only man left is
what
gonna
did
be
they do?
Bankai,
What did Jet
locked
do?
out of
Like
the
there was a
site.
smoke
That was crisp
inside,
from
and he
DRX,
looked
but
over
a
the
lot of
smoke.
it comes down to the setup. Like the fact that I don't know if they destroyed some piece of utility there,
Technical
but
pause.
I don't think there was anything there to actually stop that. So it was just
you.
almost a complete gamble
Bless
that no
you.
one was going to try and challenge that smoke.
Yeah, it's a really strange one. You know,
To be honest, I wanted to sneeze the whole day. I was so annoyed.
Destroyed, you almost expect Jet to fall back and not take that kind of an angle. It's so risky with the smoke that was down. And then when you consider the fact that I believe that was Mako's smoke, right? So there's clearly some intention behind that play. And I guess for PaperX, they really hope that the intention was someone coming out window and trying to get some control, but DRX had a much better plan to back that up. 10-9 now. Luckily, PaperX had the bank to buy back up here, but if they lose this one, then things get very scary.
Yeah.
They just about, because even then, you've still got yourself a Spectre, of course. If you throw in an Empress,
3 players light shields.
worst thing. Yeah, the light shield's being thrown in. Doesn't look like there's a drone unless it was already... Oh, no, it's being used right now. That's why there's no drone. And actually, it's going to be used on the other side as well to try and force Forsaken out, getting him out of position, instantly going over the fault line, but they're not actually pressuring. And this doesn't actually force a rotation. Interestingly, seeing nothing into mid and him not being pushed has moved or shifted their setup towards this seaside. DRX will think this is a lot clearer than it is.
Paranoia through again to dismiss afterwards. Mindfreak in a bit of a tough spot. He's being pushed down and eliminated, but there's players here to back him up. Buzz does well to find the double, and PaperX will keep on fighting, brawling for the site. The spike down, things were looking scary, but they have the TP, they pick it up, and they get onto the A site for free. That's a plant in for DRX, but a man disadvantage now extended into 2.
Okay,
Well, it's
Marco.
up to the star. Marco has had an incredible tournament, an incredible map so far. But winning in this 1 versus 3 scenario, spotting that there's nobody left on the flank, you could try and utilize the smoke to at least give him a little bit of an angle to try and fight onto the spike. You can see them slowly clearing things
How can
out.
they
They've
lose
even
that?
put a trip within that smoke just to see if he's hiding there, but he's watching to see if anybody's going to attempt to run through it. Mako with an opportunity for the first duel, manages to hit the shot, looking for a little more, but Bankai will be there to trade. No opportunity to clutch out that round, and an incredible read.
I just want to
Bit
say
more
though, like if they
consideration.
would
Nicely
have
done
lost
with
that,
double
I don't know.
digits on both sides. That's PaperX at least securing themselves a little bit more runway coming into this, but
We
the way
cannot pick.
DRX have been going, there's just no eco coming, man. They've got
Got
to
it.
fight for every single round, and that's what
Just it.
starts to happen when you trade rounds back and forth like that. Coming into round number 21,
We gotta
just
pick.
take a quick check-in
You're
on where the
moving.
ultis are at, and the big play
Got
for
it?
DRX has been a big conversational
Got
topic.
it?
The explosive ultimates that they have
Nice
to play
part
with.
of
This time
map.
they'll be
Where
coming
the
in with
fuck is
nothing.
that?
But even when you see
Huh?
PaperX, excuse me, with 2 online, it's,
I didn't look for long enough.
Well, there was
It's not
there was
that great.
another stat. I can't remember the exact stat, but it was something like DRX.
Oh, let me
depending
push-
on the
ah,
ultimates
fuck
that
off.
they were using, were winning something like 80% of rounds. Now, obviously, they've dominated the first couple of maps, so or matches that they played, so it's a little bit.
What was that?
Oh,
Got him.
Buzz.
Reina.
That shock dart got him.
Buzz.
Hit him for like half health, just double bouncing around.
No.
That's gonna be so
Oh.
annoying. Forsaken does well to get out of there. I think
Block
that's almost
inside.
a mistake on Stacks not being ready for that, not being able to trade that
I
quickly.
think
you
it was 'cause
Jet
he had
today?
Spike, he backed off.
Yeah,
No.
and also, I guess,
I'm
so I
any
get the
hero
read that
that
he's that close, he can't dash out
just saying
safely, and
something.
if he does swing and there's a second player there, lose Spike.
Where
it's
is
over.
everyone?
I just wanted to say,
Plays it
where was
passive,
the
it's probably the
Cypher?
right call, good flash to push Forsaken off the angle, but it doesn't
Oh
work.
my
This time
god.
it does.
Oh,
Oh, he's
Francis.
stuck, and now he's stunned and
Dead.
down!
So
The
good.
updraft
Wait.
missed, and it cost him his life.
Because of the sound.
Okay, also stunned at the back of the site for a second.
It
He's got to
found
try
my-
and
it
hold
found
the
my
smoke, manage to
wall.
drop the spike, but he can't get anything more. There is a flank again. There's always a flank. And it always seems to be Mindfreak. A 1 versus 2 scenario. Not a
Yeah.
whole lot of utility to try and deal with him. The turret will give a little bit of extra space, but he's going to use the smoke again to try and isolate it. Just pick it up and walk away.
They both are like,
He's seen
oh,
it
Spike
disappear,
is
but
there?
they don't
Oh,
have
cool.
to go for anything in this side of the map. They're just sprinting to try and reset this brawl onto either B or C.
And he hears both sets of steps. fading away from him, knowing now that these guys are leaving. As he was hot on their tail, he's not really going to be too cautious on the way through B, but he has to be careful.
Should have pushed a little faster.
Killjoy.
Will clear it, but that's such a tough off angle to clear, and he's gone in through Garage. But with DRX going back and holding this control together, they have such a strong position, a lockdown to play with that's unlikely to go through in a 2v1. With the round that's in it.
Yeah, they could use it just to confirm if they really wanted to. But it seems like they're just going to try and play this one together halfway through. Mindfreak managed to get it most of the way. Could just stick this. He doesn't know where the second player's coming from, but he's bought himself the time. He's going to hear the footsteps. Now playing ring around the Rosie. The peek coming through.
Nice.
And he gets stuck on the box. Mindfreak manages to win a scenario, which it just looked impossible. And he will get himself that Red Bull clutch.
He started the round on C, and he ends it there as well, using his teleport to get behind them, flanking up on A. And what a play it was. Look at this. They had no idea the distraction from the side as everyone else is dueling. He picks up one kill, lets them have the spike,
That's
follows
actually a
them all
good
the way
play,
through.
because they're probably they're not gonna
play
peek
by
completely
Mindfreak.
first.
And with 11 rounds on the board,
They're gonna first
they've
of all
actually
check,
finally pushed DRX into a position where they don't
and when
really
they check,
have
you
money.
have time to go
This
off
is them
the spike,
set
so
up
you
to
can
push
just
to
push the
map
spike
point
as much as you
potentially,
can.
Or it's DRX what they look to be doing, force buying. If they lose this round, Tom, Paper X will have 2 chances to close it out, starting with a very low buy. That very ambitious.
Yeah, he's just gone
so
straight
aggressive.
through, and they're getting decimated
Look at
because
this.
of it. Jing will be able to dismiss out of position. He's got a teammate to support. He's going to go for a kill and try and get out of there. Never mind. He's just going to go for the whole team. He might be able to dismiss away from the Killjoy ult, but he can't. It's not going to be there, and he falls instead. Buzz will take him down, but it might not matter. It's now left on to Buzz, and Buzz alone.
We can talk about the impact of Reyna. We can say, yeah, you know what? You don't really bring a lot to your team unless you're dueling.
Okay,
well,
Buzz.
he did a pretty good job there. Single-handedly winning that one out, or at least putting them into a winnable position. The information to play with Buzz. I mean, he knows he can plant it at this stage. It's going to be for long.
They know that.
Alarm bot still to play.
Oh
with
god,
turret
he
coming
planted
back
at the
as well.
worst.
The
Fucking.
players are quick. They're not giving him any space whatsoever. Knowing exactly where he is, the jump overheard, the double peek coming through.
They didn't know that they knew that he was not
Valorant
backside
there,
first of all because
really,
of the.
Jing just, I don't know how he got away with so much.
I mean, okay, you
Yeah,
can jump
it's
over
one of
that. I
those
didn't see that
classic
was that low.
plays when there's a lockdown.
What was that?
And your opponent goes, ah, he'll fall back now, right? He'll fall back now. But it even seemed like they were ready for him to re-peek that and swing on the trade, but he just lands every single headshot. There's a reason that this guy was brought into the team and that they're risking playing a composition that involves a double duelist. I think a lot of people at this point know it is not the greatest composition to be running.
They're
But this
still
kid is good
forcing.
enough that it is.
A lot of people pin DRX as the favorites. We saw the poll earlier on. 70%.
Oh, it's the 12th round. I didn't even see that.
Yeah,
That was the 12th.
I was like,
with
why is he
70%
saying
of
that?
the Valorant audience swinging towards DRX.
Oh.
This is definitely an
Is it
upsetting
Zeno?
start
Oh, yeah,
for
but
that
a little.
side. I'm looking at the ults here. Rolling Thunder, Bladestorm to work with. It's the Rolling Thunder I expect to see come through to take some
We'll
space.
take
Paper X are not playing passive for it. These guys are trying to duel in middle. There's 3 players here fighting away, but DRX, they take it a different direction.
Oh, God.
Running through Garage.
Yeah,
That
if
is
he
nasty,
keeps
though.
on being
Mindfreak
long,
being pushed down here.
that's
The
insane.
Rolling Thunder's completely avoided. In fact, the only person that connects on is Mako inside the ultimate. And
Oh,
look who's right
no.
behind them.
Oh,
Only the one to be found.
Oh my
God.
But Jing's here. A double the dismiss.
Oh my God!
That's
Oh
another
my
foul.
God!
And Jing closes out the game. Oh, absolutely sensational. 13 to 10 for Paper X. What a way to close it as well.
Holy fuck!
This kid is nuts. He joins this team. The extra addition that they bring in after not managing to make it through the LCQ comes in on a Reyna, and you go, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. There's no way they beat the masters of this map, the masters of the composition. Beautiful setups that they have all the way through, and Jing just goes, screw your setup. Screw your
What
setup.
was that?
Very last thing I
don't
wrote
know.
down coming into that game was
They're
Reyna
gonna
Jing. I wanted to
show
check in
everything.
on it towards the end and say, I expected to be sat here going, well, Tom, what do we think of the Reyna? And you go, well, you know, I would have liked a different agent in there.
Yeah.
That's my impression of you. But this time around, it's not quite as good as yours.
Okay,
John,
John, my man, John.
Close.
From
yeah,
I don't know
J-Man,
which
he
team.
comes in here today, and
That's
there is
how
no
you
doubt.
play Reina.
I don't want to. You could not see a single person sit there and go.
You know who
yeah,
I
but
mean,
if he had
right?
played
Like
this
the
other
one who
agent,
fucked
he
up
couldn't have done
Reina
half the
2
things he
times.
did here, especially in those last 2 rounds. That was just phenomenal. 23 to 19, 7 assists closing it out. 285 ACS. I mean, the only player I feel bad for Mako, man. He had a game of his life there as well. Those C holds were incredible, but not enough.
That's the thing. It's unusual where you see a game for DRX where Marco, Buzz, and RB play well and they lose.
So
Yes, and that just shows how good this Paper X team are. The worrying thing as well now, if you're a DRX fan, they're going into Bind. Bind has been a map that they're not particularly good at. It's one that they've kind of been avoiding as like almost a secondary ban, even at times banning out over other maps like Fracture, which they haven't even really played so much. So the fact that this now comes up, they're going to be potentially playing up against a Yoru, which is something that zero teams are prepared for. So realistically, this is very much up in the air. And sure, as I said, I feel like you have to come into this after DRX beating them in the past, DRX being that sort of one team that manages to come out of their region and actually do quite a lot of damage, at least since all the way at the last Ice with new turn.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna mute for a second because I wanna know.
What do you want?
Oh no, really? Oh my god.
Oh
my god!
Oh my god! Closes out the game! Oh, absolutely sensational! 13 to 10 for Paper X. What a way!
One being long. Okay, yeah, it's alright.
It's paid off, at least for map number
For
1.
sure.
I'm so excited to see what else they've got to
Do you know
show us.
what? I think there were some haters on the desk. Like, I think Jess wasn't really pleased with map number 1, so I want to see some positivity, Jess, because that half was sick.
Sick? Sentinel sick? Sorry, what's good?
I didn't even understand what you said.
What the fuck?
It's this ad.
Why is she moaning though?
I don't know. Wait, but don't moan on the stream.
Nice, did you say on the stream? Okay. Oh, that's cool. Magnetic now, and not with the band. That's cool. No, that's not even that cool, because you can't change the height. Oh, well. What is that? What is that picture?
What the fuck? I'm confused. Where is German at?
Yeah, I don't know.
Haven't been outside in a week again.
What is that gift?
I'm wearing out the same old t-shirt, 'cause I know I won't feel much either way. I'm staring at my phone again.
Okay.
When it gets a little higher, you understand.
It's weird.
And I don't know, it feels so empty. But lying with you,
Some VCT streams have muted audio. I mean, some of those songs are copyrighted, I guess. But not all of them, but because like day 1 was alright, day 2 was alright, day 3 and 4 not, day 5 was alright, and day 6 was doing enough.
Y'all, PRX's ears were burning. They heard y'all throwing
I'm
some
gonna
shade
sleep.
and they were
It's only
like,
when they're done with
let's
talking.
go. But
Huh?
This girl,
you know,
I
I'm not gonna
can't.
talk
This
anymore.
girl, it's
Just
my
roll
energy.
that final
I
round.
can't.
Roll
Only
the
when
video
they're
on
done with
that
talking.
because Jing, the 4K, Jess, I got no words.
When you
You
bring
got
a-
no words. You were quiet for a second.
I was, because when you bring a Reyna and when you run this kind of unorthodox composition that you run, you need to get value from it. And whether that's, you know, aggression, whether
That
that's
was the
some kind of, you
perfect
know,
play to
utility usage,
end off this map.
that's what Jing has to bring. And I didn't mean to rhyme that, but whatever it takes for him to make an impact with his team, that's what he had to do. And that final round was a really good encapsulation.
Yeah, it really felt like he took over the game at the end, and it wasn't just himself, right? You often talk about Reyna, and you go, oh, Reyna, she's going to flash for herself, she's going to swing, she can dismiss away, all that stuff is cool. But there was so much depth to how they were playing around her Lear, mainly as they were fighting for A control, right? There were so many rounds where she was playing in A short,
Yep.
she would paranoia through to A long, and there was a chain of utility off of that. So it goes to show that they were playing Reyna in a way that is unconventional. The pick itself is unconventional, and they made it work. They dictated the pace on defense more than they did when they were on attack. They never gave DRX a moment to breathe.
Yeah, and Jess, I know you were talking about this constantly. The defense for both teams, really strong.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to talk about the fact and harp on the fact, you know, Tom called me out, and I want him to call me out. I don't criticize teams if I expect them to be bad, because that's an already met expectation. I'm not going to get on the desk and go, wow, I'm disappointed I'm eating a raisin rather than, you know, a chocolate chip cookie.
That was an
criticized
insane
at halftime
comeback,
because I knew
not
the
gonna lie.
capacity that PRX could bring to the board, and they weren't, and that's
Like
disappointing.
how?
So for all the paper
They have
Rex
less
fans out there,
damage,
you
has
can
less
get angry at
edge
me all you
officers,
want, but
less
the truth is,
less
I knew they
drag
were
ones,
capable of
but they
that.
got the objective
And they
one.
brought it.
Oh, they showed up. They certainly showed up.
Doug, round 16. The reason I'm going to bring your eyes to this is that early defensive aggression that DRX just couldn't break through round 16. I was like, I have to highlight it. But then I wanted to highlight like the next round after it, where they threw in a nano swarm. So it was round 16, then conversely, the very next round, they knew it would come again. They knew the defensive aggression would come. So they layered it with the nano swarm in the next round. This is it right here. Obviously, you can see them trying to nano swarm it. It didn't matter. They ran through it. DRX tried to counter them with the nano that they previously hadn't had there, and it wasn't enough. PaperX are not afraid to run through every piece of utility DRX puts on the ground to fight for that ground, to fight for those power positions. That is a scary, scary thing if DRX is so used to going, if we put this here, they shouldn't run through it. They ran through it all.
Yeah, they just like didn't care about what was being thrown their way. I think the biggest takeaway, or perhaps what I'm most thankful for, is that we are not trying to play solo queue right now, because I know they're going to be riddled with Reyna picks. There are those of you at home who want to do it, just don't. Let Jing do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Doug, I also,
Hey,
round 21,
what do you mean? My
I was
Reyna's
cracking
good,
up
okay?
because Doug was like,
Let me.
nope, not a chance,
Not gonna do
no
it.
shot, not happening.
insane,
and
you
it
said
shouldn't
no
have-
so many
but-
times.
It shouldn't have happened.
That was
Right,
wild.
the fact that they allowed him to isolate those 1v1s, you had someone pushing in from spawn and from garage, you weren't swinging at the same time.
Oh,
When you have a
God.
numbers advantage like that, you want to make the decision very difficult for the person in the 1vx, and they didn't, right? They peaked at different times. It was as soon as Killjoy peeked out from defender spawn, I went,
It's done.
it's lost.
yeah.
They blew it.
That was just absolutely a wild map. And, you know, we've been talking about Jing a lot. So, you know what? Why don't we check him out at the AIM Lab shoot-around? By the way, I love the gamer tag, y'all. Come on. Nothing. Just
I got
turned away
nothing.
from me. She
Oh,
was
of
like,
course I turned. I'm
ain't-
trying to scan the QR code to get his crosshair.
okay,
Hello?
okay.
Oh,
I want his
Ava.
after that
sensitivity.
4K.
I want his crosshair.
Yeah.
I want whatever he's got. I want it on my account right now.
I want
Hello?
his mouse. He's got a final mouse.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, that thing is
Look,
sick.
chat.
Jing,
Doug, I
bro.
swear, Jing heard you when you were like, ooh, cringe, the Reyna. And then he was like, okay, Doug.
Probably.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
I worry because there are too many people who are going to believe that this is a good pick. I still don't know that it is, but it does go to show that at the end of the day, you can take a pick, you can
Yes.
incorporate it into a game plan, and you can make it work.
Every agent can be incorporated into some kind of set play, strategy, whatnot. Unfortunately, you're locked into that agent throughout the entirety of the map. So that's where it becomes a little bit trickier. You can't, have a whole game plan, that spans the entirety of a game sometimes. So that's why a lot of teams won't go with those picks, because they know the longevity of it is a little bit difficult to implement and then therefore adapt across the round. So I like that they brought it. It did work, but what a weird defensive kind of sided map, which we weren't expecting. These teams win 80% of their attacking rounds and around 60% of their defensive rounds on that particular map. So they flipped the script today, which is an interesting one.
It's Masters, y'all. You never know what's going to happen. I do want to talk about map 2 a little bit, though. So that's Paper Rex's pick. Bind. Yoru, Doug. You ready?
Yeah, that's the exciting one. I've been, during the dark days and during the good days, I've been a long-time Yoru stan. So I'm very excited for what's going to happen. And we've already seen the way that PRX want to play. Again, it's not just this like recklessness to it. I was so impressed. I know I mentioned it earlier, but I was so impressed by their utility usage as they fought to control a main. Now you've got Yoru, and you have different playmaking abilities that he has. Yoru's kit allows him to do that for himself. There's misdirection to work with as well. I love this.
How many times have you shot he's fake? How many times? Like,
oh, it's way too many to
way
count.
too many.
Yeah, I do it every time, and I tell him, why do I do that, right? Like, I know it's a fake. No one just walks out like that like
Correct.
a bot. But of course, I shoot it anyway. And
and you. I mean, everyone has, reactions. Right. I can't move and flick as fast as you do, so I'm always like, I can see that he's, running towards the wall. I don't shoot him, but I will say that it's a great little misdirection. Obviously, with the tallies, we heard in the interview that he thinks on Bind specifically that Yoru is one of the best agents he can bring to get the job done, and if it's working, then why not?
Yeah, I want to talk about DRX a little bit. Man, this is tough. They just lost so close. I'm sure they're feeling defeated. How do you reset, Doug?
Yeah, I think eyes go back to Mako, to be honest with you, right? He's been the rock for this team this entire tournament. This is the first real time where we see them face adversity. Now, mind you, there is still a lower bracket. You can work your way through if the series doesn't go your way, but my eyes go to Mako. Yeah, the leader for the team. He's been everything they've needed him to be on a role that you wouldn't necessarily expect him to be able to deliver from. But it's worked, and I think when you find yourself in a situation like this where you have a game plan going into Haven, and every team has a plan, and every plan is great until you get punched in the mouth. And that's what just happened to DRX, right? So you look at that and you go, okay, what's next?
Some Schneckles,
all right, and we are ready to move into our Prime Gaming Agent Select. I mean, do I even know what it's just?
Where is he? Where is he? He's fourth. He's fourth
seat.
from the left, so obviously I will wait for the cards to flash across the screen.
It's coming.
Okay,
it's coming, girl.
Everything's looking as usual. Okay, we got the breach, we got the brim. Okay, Sky again. And there we go. Nice.
Yeah, this is happening.
Nice. This is happening, he says. This is happening.
He just whispered that. Doug, you have such a great voice. This is happening. This is happening, folks.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we thinking here?
Again, we've talked about it a little bit. I'm very excited to see how Forsaken does on Yoru. Remember, he had a quiet first half. All of Paper Rex had a quiet first half on Haven, so will there be a change of things on how they go around things? The one thing that is worth noting is they are starting off on defense. Bind is a bit unique to Haven in that obviously there are less sites and you don't have as much cheeky little stuff that you can do, in my opinion.
You say that.
But, yeah, you've got Yoru, you've got the playstyle that we've already seen. There's a lot that can go here.
All right, our players are set. Tom and Mitch, take it away, fellas.
Well, in the last map, Mitch, we just had Jing give hope to Reyna mains everywhere around the world. Now, we have got a Yoru in play. So there are some niche gamers out there who are like, Yoru's been in pro play now. And it's 0%, of course, up until this point, and I am damn excited to see what he's about to do.
We had seen him a little bit in EMEA on Bind, and I hated it. I hated every second of it. It was just, oh, look, I'm in the teleporter, or am I? And that was about it. I'm expecting a lot more from Paper X. I've heard whispers of what the Yoru can do.
I'm actually interested.
Forsaken's going to be showing us.
Don't see Yoru at all in pro
We're kicking
play
off
at the
Bind.
moment.
Paper X against DRX. And PaperX come in with the map advantage here.
I don't
The thing
think
is,
he's that
DRX have
bad.
switched their comp as well. So they brought in a Sage. Now, one of the things that could be just to deny the Yoru is having that wall. Just like, yeah, you get through this one, bud. But also just having all of that Ashe utility to try and slow with gravity wells and stuff. I wonder if they're directly using this composition to play up against the composition of PaperX.
The gamble here from PaperX was that it would be a play through mid-B, but unfortunately they've gone elsewhere. So now this retake play on A goes in a little fast. Up and above the wall. Forsaken's down. The flash coming in from Benkai now. Headshot connected. He's been chased. He's been hunted by the boom button. Eventually he'll be able to make it out. Lucky did as well. The nade, the stun, everything coming in for the RB down.
Execution. Benkai just swings the corner. And now it's going to go wrapping in. Zest hasn't connected
Wow.
the shots. Jing, on the other hand, well, he doesn't miss.
Look at this setup from Mako. Overcomes the utility to push them down. First you're pulling them off, then you're putting down that snake bite to make sure that they can't get back on the spike. Now they're in a pretty tough spot getting back in there. Good fight by Jing, another connect, and now he's got his nade back up and online. And here it comes. Gonna push Mako forward, if not take him down altogether. Very nicely handled by PaperX, and another fantastic round out of Jing. This guy's had 3 in a row now, bringing it across maps.
Are you there?
Yeah, he's winning them rounds, and that's the thing. That's the value of him coming in. As I said, like to run a double duelist, you need to have 2 superstars, and that's what they now have. But before it was the Forsaken show. Now Jing can basically just step up whenever they need him. I will say though, the thing I really liked about this retake was just the pacing of it. Like they were taking control of Lamp so fast that even Zest, who was on the other side, didn't have enough time to react to everybody just swinging him at once. So well played, good structure from PaperX, and now, well, on the other side of things, it looks like there's some risks being taken.
I love this setup. It's exactly what they were looking for in the pistol. This time they initiated at the very start of the round instead of off contact, but they've ended up going down, and really that's the surprise element of this buy for DRX. They come in with weapons when PaperX thought it would be an eco and an easy round, although they picked up the kills nicely. Stacks in a bit of trouble, and Mako's able to help him from afar. They've regained control of the spike, but I'm not sure PaperX are finished fighting.
Oh, another flash. They've just got so many to continuously aggress on this defensive side. A lot of damage done. At the same time, though, in terms of weaponry, it's almost even. In fact, DRX invested more into this round. Mindfreak, bit of an off angle. If he can get 2 and even just duck out, no, he's going to stick around, finish them all off, and earn himself some more orbs along the way. 4 spy fails. DRX are going to have to go back to the pistols for this one. And PaperX, well, if anything, I think they come out of that with more weapons than they started with.
Yeah, no, you got to be pretty happy if you're PaperX, right? They played a pretty low buy coming into that one. Lots of pistols to work with, and they made it work. DRX, we talked about it on the previous map when they lost that second half pistol, that it is something that you can see this team do going for the 4 spies. And here, the surprise element of it certainly paid off on that mid-fight initially. But from there, PaperX just did not relent. You know, a lot of teams will fall back and go, oh, okay, we lost. You got 1-for-1 trades, whatever. Let's fight back on the site. These guys were like, all right, I'm going to TP back, then I'm going to come through, flash again, then he put his like decoy up middle, then ran back through and TP'd back. Like, they had no idea what was going on.
Oh, Benkai set up ready. Hot flash again. He's running off the back of it, but it is only going to be the one.
Spike down A.
Not falling for the fake out. Actually, Jing's just going. He's just running.
Oh, that nade's good.
Wow.
The thing is, they're going to manage to avoid it. Now the rest of the team look to actually just take this control. It's such an aggressive defense. Even versus the pistols. They're wanting to try and fight. Buzz is in. And Buzz, he's now found another. This is starting to fall apart a bit.
Happening?
The aggression finally punishing. And now Mindfreak left again. He got 3 kills in the last round. He needs to do
I'm saying always like
DRX now have weapons to work with. Zest is going to have his heal online in a bit and be able to at least heal either himself or probably Buzz right back up. With the fact that they play Mako in full health, this is a round that looks set to be in the hands of DRX, and it is taken convincingly with 3 players surviving, a free Phantom for them as well. The second round 4 spy didn't quite pay off, but they've got it back somehow on the eco.
Yeah, I feel like these are the blips that you're going to see on the radar for PaperX. Like, again, in rounds where you know your opponent's economy is low, to be this aggressive, it's always going to have massive risks around it, but they don't want to give that fight up, because then they know that they would have given some of the weaponry.
Timeout
I
feature
do
in
agree
the
that
game
the Phantom did
themselves.
seem a little bit much, especially at that sort of range. I just don't feel like the value is there. Now you get maybe the most mixed bag buy I've ever seen. It's been a long, long time
That would
since
be
I've
so
seen
good.
a Yoru up as well. Laz, he's still in this tournament. I think that's the only man who's ever done it.
You've got a Yoru up and then a Judge in the hands of Raze. This is a mixed buy indeed. Devi having the Spectre. But the Operator is where they look to take initial contact here on middle. TP ready to get them back over towards the B side if he needs, and he will in a moment. There's the peak initially.
Nice.
RB down immediately. And that's a great start. I think DRX will be pretty surprised with having run into a Yoru up to start.
Yeah, but I guess at this point you almost have to expect the unexpected when it comes to Paper X. Like, that's the problem. Like, no one else in the world is going to be playing this comp, so you can only have hard prepped for them. And even then, they're not scrimming you anymore. They stopped doing that a month ago so that they could have these cheeky little plays that you're not going to be expecting when coming into this tournament.
There's no way that Forsaken's going to go through the teleporter, try to fight them in TP, and then go, okay, his teleporter's actually gone. His gate crash, it was in the spawn, but it's disappeared now. So he won't be able to rotate as quickly, and that works out perfectly for DRX as they look to push forward. That is ridiculous. Jing getting himself one, but he'll be taken down afterwards. Now the site's basically lost with the wall in the way. The plants should be secured.
I felt like I'm back watching F4Q again. Like, just blast pack, Judge plays. A little bit of utility being placed, but caught while coming out of the animation. Devi has managed to clear one out. RB is going to be bought back from the fray, but Stax needs to get aggressive while the rest are rotating. Can't allow them to get on that defusal, and well, they should have a gravity well or something to try and pull them off, but they managed to get it to half. Not a bad position, and something that might not necessarily be expected. The peek out isn't going to garner anything. RB does manage one, but he can't escape. Benkai again, so good with those fault lines, and they have plenty of time, Mitch.
I love the use of the molly coming through from Mind Freak as well inside the smoke when they start the defuse. So these players, they have to allow it to go halfway. The only option they had was to spam through, and as soon as they tried that, there was return fire, I think, from Benkai taking the player down. With 3-1 now on the board, that is a remarkable recovery by Paper X off the back of a pretty risky investment. I mean, there were a lot of things here that might have cost them, and that Judge in particular, finding value from that, honestly, he could have gotten a lot more if the timing was, I don't want to say better because there's no way he can know, but luckier, let's say.
Well, I like it in those highlights as well. You see that two of the, well, obviously 6 because they did use a res. Players that died were completely stunned up by fault lines from Benkai. He has been doing incredible work with that small piece of utility, and already we're going to see the initial aggression. Look how fast this rotation is. They're already looking to try and get 4 players within this B side. Make it 5, in fact.
Orbital strikes used to slow them down, and RB's taken down in the meantime. Seeker's out for Devi, but he's got cover. Benkai coming in to save the day, and Devi's gonna dance around that smoke. He goes down, but he knows exactly where Stax is. That information's fed to his teammates, and okay, Stax can fall back and has some Seekers of his own, but in a 1v4, even getting the plant down here would be ambitious and quite difficult. I like the Paper X were sticking together for a while as 4, but splitting into 2-2 makes a lot of sense here just to cover more ground.
I don't think it's a stat that anybody can pull, but I would love to know how much of the game Paper X spend running over walking. Because I feel like it's going to be higher than anyone else ever. Because it's like their rotation there was so quick. Now, the player on the site is actually relatively low.
Yeah, I
think it's I'd be very surprised if Mind Freak peaks. He actually does off the back of the stun. Gives an opportunity. Flash through as well. Stax is doing incredibly well to isolate these jewels. The other player is coming in on the flank. If he can somehow find this frag, he's got an opportunity and actually moves into a safe spot to utilize the Seekers. He's going to get the wall bang. 4 down, and now he even knows where Forsaken is. Could just go for the plant. Bringing this back to try and ace it. Pop flash out to leave him blind. Leaves himself blind a little bit as well. Forsaken still just trying to sneak his way, trying to ruin the day.
Oh my god.
The headshot in the end, around that never should have been.
I mean, back and forth the entire map so far. We have had rounds that shouldn't be won. The eco from DRX, the mix buy for Paper X, but I think that one's taken the cake for now. Unbelievable work, a 1v4 ace clutch. And he isolates every duel. You can definitely look at that as some mistakes from Paper X, but I understand Benkai wants to get out there to help his low HP teammate who was 1 bullet through the wall away from going down. The operators swap out for Forsaken.
Stuff I did today, I'm so tired.
But such a crispy shot hit by Stax. That is 3-2, and now Paper X are left down to the eco. The tables are turning too damn fast.
The man's a god. Like, he read everything perfectly.
I
Like, sure, the
trained
Seekers
the
at the
sky,
end
by
was
the
the
way.
icing on the cake just to give
Huh?
him the information, but it was the
I
isolation
trained
of
the
every
sky.
single
Mhm.
one of
Of
those
course,
duels
no
from
one other.
Stax. So clever in
Mhm.
those sort of spots.
okay.
And,
That was me.
well,
Ah.
as you said,
He was
leaving
like, he
Paperex
came
in
to
a
me
bit of
and
an
was
awkward position,
begging,
because up until that,
like,
their read on the
like,
round has
please
been
train
phenomenal.
me.
They've been doing an
And I
excellent
was
job
like,
on this defensive side, but that one
okay.
blip on the radar
Okay.
Praise
could be
me for
enough
being
to turn
kind.
things. Again, we're
I'm
seeing
sorry.
these combinations of stuns and flashes and mind freak.
That
He's gonna
is
go pushing, but they know.
okay.
They know that someone's made that move.
Gonna
Nice
burn
shots,
up.
man.
Oh god,
Run.
They
Nice.
caught him as well. Yeah. Won't have any impact off the back though. Obviously, no one pushing up from DRX. They're waiting to go into the A site. They've been spotted up by Divide, tagged through the wall. Not having an easy time getting out of there. He has managed to reposition with Forsaken. They're not going to get on top of the wall.
Oh, wow.
They try to break it. Divide goes down. Showstopper attempt. It's going to find
Wow.
nothing. That was an ambitious ultimate.
Maybe not wanting to go all the way up, just being headshotted. Forsaken's actually found Zest through the edge of the box, and then just seconds later, we have a blast pack kill. RB holds his ground, and he's going to wipe them out, leaving just Mind Freak, the late lurk once again, trying to come back through, and Buzz is watching and waiting. DRX not
Well,
letting
that's-
anything get out of control, the ult's not really having the impact they would have desired, and they're going to equal up that scoreline.
Well, no surprise while we were talking about the potential forces in round 2 from DRX. We said confidence is the way to play, and so far, it has been working out for them. Face into that bye, sure, we expect them to win that round and
Holy.
equalize things up. But the way that they've been getting this done, the clutch
I'm
from Stax
actually
and
interested
momentum
who's
has
gonna
gotta
win
be
this.
Off the charts.
They both have
over on that
insane
attacking
rounds.
side,
They
and
both
this is
have
where they face
insane
a pretty tough
dumb
round.
plays as well.
Forsaken, I don't even want to theorize what he's going to
They
do.
can do
with that ultimate.
everything.
Things can get wild. Let's
But I
just
need to say,
And then on the
DRX
other
and
side, we've also got
PRX
Thunder
are
to
like
try and recover some of these scenarios.
not doing a lot of
PRX have
mistakes.
a bunch to
Don't
work
worry.
with. Although the one upside is that showstopper was burned up in the last round for nothing. And here's the showstopper on the other side, getting away with a kill inside of Hookah.
just watching what Forsaken is going to try and attempt here. Pop flashing out, dissipates back to the A side, but the rest of his team are going to be left somewhat alone. They've won themselves into the corner!
What
What's
was
just
that?
happened? He even jumps back down off the wall, and now it's
That is
somewhat
such a good
stuck.
cover for him,
It's a bit
though.
of a weird position to be in. Bekkai in the corner as well. The flash is solid. One isolated, but can't get himself the second. And now, well, the man who gate crashed away now has to try and run back. And that he's already got his Seekers back. He used it in that clutch just 2 rounds ago.
And then he got 4 kills. It certainly helped out. I think it was 2 right after the Seekers. Forsaken still with a flash and his ult to play with. He's going to be moving into this 1v2 for now, clearing the angles with the Vandal.
Elbow.
Needs the headshot with just 32 health. And Paperex, you know, they're not going to have an easy time. DRX are just stuck in.
Hello,
Not
chill.
any
So
way
like,
to have that spike, and then they can run it off the clock in the positions
Man,
they're in.
he's
It's
picking
so hard
exactly
for
the wrong
Forsaken to beat
corners.
them out.
Mm-hmm.
And they even believe it's a fake to start with.
Oh.
Gorgeous stuff. I like the fact that you send
Like,
the one guy
he
out
did-
of Hookah and
he,
the player inside of Elbow is just going to sit
cleared
there, just
exactly
gonna
the wrong
wait for
corners.
something to happen. There's no
Every of
point
the
in
wrong
keeping
corners,
and
none
giving
of the rear
information
corners.
away. A 4th round
If he
found
would have
for
run
Freeman,
like that
and
into
was a high
elbow,
round
he
for
would have gotten the
Paperex,
kill.
leaving it down to another eco. DRX, despite a pretty terrible start to this, they've certainly recovered the fumble.
Yeah, definitely a little bit more
recovered the
shaky. I think if
fumble.
you end up locking you and your teammate behind a wall in the cubby, and the fact that I think if the player didn't fall off of the wall, it probably gets 2 kills there. It's not quite as pretty as
Where are my
maybe some of
points?
the
Liquid
rounds
lost.
we're
Liquid
used to
won
from
the second
DRX,
round.
but they're going to take it.
Dumbass.
4 rounds already on that attack, and again back to pistols.
Yeah, I mean, how
Dimensional
stupid can he be?
not really being used
Specific,
at
man.
all.
Like,
I'd be interested to see what
I
Forsaken
said
do
I
with
get
it.
scammed.
It's
we are
good, like,
voting
couple
for
of fake
second
plays to
map,
try and bait
and
people
you are
out,
annoyed
use it
that
for
you lost
information,
your
or if they're
points.
saving
Yeah,
it for
Liquid got like
a
13,
situational position within a
13-3
buy
or
round that
13-4.
He feels it
Fake
can bring
teleport.
value. Who knows? Because again, we don't really see this in competitive play.
They fake TP'd over towards A side, but I don't think anyone was close enough to really hear that. Hoping that they're going to get DRX running up through B long, but now some players have been spotted. And look at the immediate reaction. Stax goes up, makes a bit of noise, pops his flash, and then he's on his way back around. His teammates
Paperex needs to get like the next.
with no
next
gate crash
couple of
over there
rounds.
anymore.
They
This is gonna
can't
leave them in a
lose
pretty tough
again.
spot. Paperex stacked up on exactly the wrong side, and they're realizing that now with the smoke's going down, with the space being seized, and soon enough with the plant coming through.
It's going to be an attempt again to try and play through this. Forsaken making noise at least, but they're going to have themselves the Viper's Pit to play within. Covering off the spike, Benkai's pushed himself in. Trying to get a little bit more aggressive, but Mako's ready for it. And with the players being so low, every time he takes a battle, it becomes easier and easier. Also, okay, I was going to say, it looked like Buzz had that covered. Forsaken will drop one, Mitch, but, well, I think that might be all.
Yeah, there's an immediate response from DRX. They thin out this defense on the way back through. Another big clutch needed, and they're on their way. 2 kills already found, rifles retrieved. Here comes an orbital strike, and a dive in. Mind Freak's taken, Forsaken out. But Mako going down doesn't really help them with so little time. Mind Freak tries his best. But we end up with DRX coming out ahead. Another round that Tom, I think, you know, not as clean as maybe either team would have liked. Forsaken going down to that ult. I mean, he was just barely inside it, but it was enough.
The worst thing is if he just
I guess it's good for them because they get them the
like almost 100%.
money from them in
you
middle down.
slow-moed it.
He's gonna run in. Yeah. So he tried to play on the edge and just clips it enough. The shot that he connects onto Marco was fantastic, but there was only one way he could go.
Yeah.
It's a nice attempt, especially again with what weaponry they had. They used those ultimates to make things incredibly costly.
Why did he
DRX still
walk
come out with a round?
into the? Oh, I'm
Done
confused.
well to find that, but you have to remember.
I mean, I'm confused anyways. No.
Had nothing. They had barely anything to play with. Initial push down on
God.
B long, and they've kept 2 players so close.
DRX,
After
please
standing out,
don't die
are they
here.
ready for this?
He's
Buzz
on the
is
other
certainly
side,
expecting
and you
there to be
don't know
someone up
that,
close,
and you're gonna
but with
die.
2
if you
players on
keep
the other
that.
side, you could be in a lot
Yeah,
of
just stay
danger.
there. Just chill.
Back off at least.
Be
Give up that
alive.
control. Lots of players spotted outside.
Yeah.
Oh, he's actually going to try it. Thought he was sticking around, man. Once he popped the flash down, I'm like, is this guy crazy? He saw 3 players, but he decided to gate crash out. Oh, he gave me a heart attack, Forsaken.
It's given them information of at least where the players are. And I think they've fallen back off of their initial aggression onto B, but you can see that it's definitely in the head of
Why did
Buzz.
you do it
like,
then,
that's
though?
about as far back as you're ever going to play, unless you're just sat within your
That was
spot
such a
saving.
bad
So
play then.
now they have to try and clear out some of these more aggressive angles. Lots of utility. This setup is beautiful, but Jin gets out. He manages to escape and still holds onto the position, even has utility of his own to try and hold them back, but Forsaken caught in a bit of an odd spot, facing the wall, trying to have the anti-flash.
Oh,
and in the
man.
meantime, DRX
Oh,
have
man.
cleared out every single player. Stacks is popping at the moment. It's left all on to
I mean,
Benkai.
only 3.
And actually, I think he's heard that rotation. It's somewhat of a ruse, but they end up going in that direction anyway when they realize the site is clear.
Yeah, and with Buzz having lurked over on B
He's
for so
gonna watch
long,
out
he's
for
already
CT,
got this
right?
position cleared out fully. He's ready for Benkai to make his
Oh, that
way
was the
through. But
perfect
now he
time.
senses, all right, at this stage,
Planted.
he'll think I'm here. Element of surprise kind of faded away, pops the smoke, falls back, and he's going to play this with his teammate. Another thing for DRX is just the patience play, man. They set up, they take every advantage they can get, nobody's swinging alone. And the first point of contact is going to be up inside of Hookah. Benkai is going to have to hit that shot and then immediately adjust to Buzz. Not an easy duel to take. He's being spotted now, and there's the double swing to close it. Really well handled. And at this point, this is the kind of play you need to see from
I mean,
DRX.
the thing is, like,
some
I don't
rounds
know
have
what to
slipped out of
expect at
both
all
teams'
anymore.
hands because of big clutch plays.
Because of the
So we're gonna start to
8-4
wake up
that
playing
DRX
a
had
lot more serious, especially with DRX
last
being
map.
on paper X's
They still
map
got
pick
back
having lost theirs. I
completely.
mean, this is a threatening position. Now a timeout will come through from the Paper X boys. They are facing into an eco, though, so I wouldn't expect success immediately.
Yeah, this is a map as well for DRX that they've been avoiding quite a bit. Like, it's out of all of the maps in the pool, this is the one that I think they have the worst record on. They've only played Fracture once and they won it, and that was versus Onslayers, who also don't really play the map.
Yeah.
So they've been batting that out quite consistently, especially with the comp that's also run there, an incredibly aggressive one, similarly to what we saw in Haven. I think it was a good ban. So coming in onto this map, they've clearly done the work, knowing that they want to have that 6-map pool, as most teams will. And yeah, coming into this map on the attack side, they've looked very controlled. And I think that's something that for DRX is always going to be incredibly important. Like, okay, you get caught off initially, you adapt in those scenarios, and then after that, they just start clearing all of these aggressive angles and being very patient to make sure that these cheeky plays don't actually work out. Because you saw how deep these players were. Like, obviously the dimensional drift, that gives you the ability to get out of there. The 2 players that push down long alongside it, that amount of control normally isn't given up, and if it is, you normally don't win the round.
Absolutely, yeah. Considering they had the info so early, they spotted the 3 players outside of Bath. Everything was going their way in terms of the info game. But a couple of times now, we've seen Forsaken caught off. I mean, playing the anti-flash in the corner, his teammates orbital strike the previous round. Not having the best of rounds there. And we're going to see him come into this one with a Marshall. He really loves the scope on the Yoru. I'm not sure that I love it, but we'll see. See if it grows on me.
Well, he's been doing quite well, at least, when he's had that operator in play. Hasn't played it particularly a huge amount because of how aggressive he's going to be. Like, he wants to be challenging through those TPs. He wants to be pushing forward. But there's definitely been moments where he's been caught out. Benkai goes pushing. Now, there's a lot of open angles from this point onwards, and I'd be very surprised if he manages to get anything. In fact, you can see the instant reaction of free kill for RB.
Nicely connected. DRX will just breeze into this site now. The TP coming through from Forsaken. With the Marshal, I mean, he's going to have a tough time clearing out Bath if he ends up in a close range fight. Defi's able to just push through here, but the shot won't be connected. Zest goes down. That's a rifle upgrade for Forsaken. Bath control in their favor. They know where DRX are stuck in towards Lamps. Down in the bottom of middle, this could be huge as they look to isolate these close range dual pistols in hand. A stinger for Jing opens it up. The buzz goes huge. 3 kills to secure the round. Now 7 on the board for DRX. These guys are steaming ahead on the attack side.
Yeah, their off the plants just look so controlled.
I don't
Like,
even know
even though
what's
they
happening
gave up
half
certain
the time.
portions of the map because players were lost, they then react, reclaim others. And I don't think we've seen a success, since the pistol at least, seen a successful retake of Lamps. Like, whoever's been there, even if they're stunned up, has just been so confident in holding on to that position, whether it's been Buzz or RB in previous rounds. And retaking without
Oh,
that
he's
control is always
14-5.
so incredibly difficult, and I just don't think there's been anywhere near
Oh
as
my
much
God.
there to be able to force them out of
That's
that
one.
spot. 7-3 after some early round shenanigans. DRX have gone into a dominant spot, just like they did on the previous map.
At this point, Tom, for Paper X, it's do or die time in this half. All the economy invested into this round. Gonna have a showstopper and Rolling Thunder coming up with just 1 kill. DRX are taking this understandably slowly, understanding the weight that is in this round, how important it can be. They're playing the default, holding for the aggression. Paper X up to the similar Yoru tricks that we've talked about.
Yeah. It's like seeing the fake out on the map is the most like mind blowing. That like you look just like there's no, he's not there. He's over here. And it's just like trying to focus on it. I feel like they need to almost make him a different color when it's the fake out to be less confusing. Forsaken, however, has managed to get 1 and then escape. Jing also just trying to delay. That was beautiful how he managed to get up there. So beautiful they didn't even expect it, but he whips his shots. Not going to find anything more, and they'll take control of the site.
That's a huge whiff. RB left alive. They're closing in on the site. The heals coming in for RB. And he's spraying back through. The Rolling Thunder committed. Maybe a little bit late, though. They just lost a player. As they go back in, there's no flashes to play with. Benkai is going to try to close the distance himself, but he's got a 1v3 now after the first kill. And they're just tucked in all these little corners. The crossfire with long. RB should be swinging. Not able to get the kill, but... Oh, actually, he'll be forced out. This is really good for Benkai. Kill with the Aftershock, 1v2. Time on his side. Information, though, not really there to play with. And swing from Stacks confirms the round. 8 on the board for DRX. Paper X are running out of cash, Tom, coming into the final round.
Well, yeah, they're running out of rounds as well. Like, it's been incredibly strong. And that's the thing. I feel like there's been opportunities where we could have seen Paper X, like, catch someone off guard, and they just haven't been able to do so. Like, the movement that came out from Jing there was fantastic. Like, able to get up above, take an aggressive angle, doesn't connect, and then you just see instantly DRX just lock him out with utility. They don't allow him to have a repeat. They don't allow him to have another chance, and anybody else who's battling elsewhere on the map, well, they've already lost by that point.
So not only did Paper X have a poor economy, oh, but never mind, screw that point. Forsaken's gone, he's running it down, flashes in, Mind Freak trades, Showstopper out to secure it. RB doesn't even need it.
You need
and
to
this
see
is what I was
that's
going to
not
point
working.
out. You had a res for DRX, but
They've
Zest
tried
is
that
gone.
so
You
many
have the
times now.
Showstopper as well. And sure, Jing has his own, but after that initial fight and losing all of the players, this is a next to impossible round. Oh, that's stunned. Great. That Showstopper gets nothing, and with 30 HP and a Spectre in the hands of both remaining players, this round is, well, it should be DRX's, and they're even going to confirm it rotating to A, leaving Jing to try and run, and look who's right behind him, behind the Cosmic Divide. RB's going to secure this bit of map control. And that's great information, because now they know exactly where he's going, and he has no idea.
There's only one way he can go. So you can see instantly, Stax is already watching this. The communication from DRX is second to none. Everybody's on the same page of where this is currently going to be coming from. You can see the hold over on the other side, the plant even being in an aggressive position, and it's almost like Stax has eyes around the map or something. Maybe he's playing a Cypher and we just didn't know it, because his timing, his precision on this map has been superb. DRX 9-3 in the lead, Mitch. That was dominant.
Well, maybe the first time someone had a Cypher cam when they shouldn't. 9-3 at the half. Pretty damn strong position for DRX. You know, we had some concerns coming onto this map. And, well, I think they have been well and truly put to rest. But you know
so
what?
it's
We weren't the only
3-9,
ones with
but I don't want to
concerns,
say
Tom.
anything
The
because
analyst
they
desk had
came
some
back
things
from
to
a
say. Let's see what they
4-8
made of that
last
half.
last map.
Thank you so much, Mitch and Tom.
I didn't do predictions
9-3,
again. I might do somewhere
y'all.
else today.
Okay,
Sorry,
I mean,
by the way.
DRX clapping back on Paper Rex's map pick there.
Yeah.
Jess, that hurt a little to watch.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say it was necessarily
Okay, in that small
a
break,
a
I'm gonna
bad
look what's
half
new
from
on
Paper
the
Rex. I just
training
thought
range. You ready?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can let the stream open in the back. Oh. Fucking hell, fucking up.
Okay, don't react to that too fast. Give me like
3
2
seconds.
seconds because of delay.
Lag.
You look so good in black.
I'm done. Okay, practice, shooting range. Thank you, by the way.
Oh, I didn't say anything.
Ah, okay. Sorry.
I forgive you.
So let's see, we're going in with... I need to make my headphones a little louder right now for the moment.
Don't react too fast.
I'm really slow.
Just because you can like
What the fuck?
be louder with oh.
Sorry. There was sounds. What the fuck was that? That was creepy. I'm out. Bye. Bye. Dash. What was that? Did you see it already? Okay, don't scream right now. I'm gonna make my headphones louder.
Yo, big man, seriously, tell us what's going on right now. Because me and the others, we're all seeing things like ghosts or something. Nightmare shit. Flicking lights, cold door handles. It's got us all twitchy. Raze is freaking out. And you and Cypher keep doing these secret meetings. Every time you do, it gets all scary, man. So look, I get it. You handle the serious stuff. It's need to know, but you have to give us something. Who are you meeting with? Like, what's going on? We can handle it.
Was that it?
Uh-huh. I only saw it in Russian, and in Russian she says,
wait.
I am...
Why is that the creepy sound as well now? Huh? Is that meant to be, dude? Can it go away?
Yeah.
Oh, now it's gone.
I guess that means that she's watching you.
Fucking helmet, it's your fault.
Fuck.
What's here? Agents. Word around headquarters travels fast, so I cut to it. The recent threat to our security was a single independent target. She was apprehended last night thanks to the efforts of our strike team in Turkey and is currently being detained. An unusual move for us, I know, but this is an unusual situation. I need all of you on high alert. We'll have answers soon. Cool. Oh.
Cool.
Shit. Hello? Can I? What are you? I'm bugging in front of that. Ah, because that fucking explosion. Oh shit. Oh, nice.
In Russian.
Uh-huh.
In Russian she says, I'm in your head.
Oi. What is that room? Open.
Let me in!
Oh shit, my sorry for whoever's in there, I just smoked you. Can I see? I can.
Wait, can you try to do that one more time? Is it gonna sound different?
What?
Maybe
Oh,
with
I don't know.
different agent or something?
Can I just change my agent? And it's
There was a teaser with
yeah, but can you be
Breach.
a little quieter? I have my headphones way too loud now. Because I want to hear everything in
Can
here.
you try this with Breach? Because
Okay.
Breach was in teaser. He was like in the
Oh!
trap.
How the fuck did I not see you?
Boy.
How did I not see that? Am I blind? Wait, I played practice range yesterday. How did I not see that?
It's alright, it's alright. Let's warm up every day there and just don't notice stuff.
Bird's Eye, this is Breach. How's the view?
Bird's eye to ground. The vulture owns the sky. What's your status?
It's another quiet night in Istanbul.
Not anymore. Cypher to all stations. I have a signal. Our blackmailer is headed east, entering Sector 4.
Neon, this is Sova. Confirm you have target visual.
Yep, got him. They're entering. Looks like a warehouse.
I see it. Ground team, collapse and converge on Sector 4.
Bird's eye en route. I'm descending to surveillance altitude.
Let's do this.
Closing the net.
Chamber 2 team, I am in sniper position, a neighboring rooftop northwest of the warehouse.
Do we have eyes inside?
No internal feed. This bird's little nest is off the grid.
Then we're in the right place. I'm scoping a skylight at the far corner. Possible access point. Leave that to me.
Establish visual, then hold for team execute. Do not engage target.
Copy. Cypher, how's the emergency chatter?
Nothing yet. We are ghost.
Cypher's with me at the south garage.
I've got north. Sova, on the roof. Entering now.
Sova, you've dropped off my visual. The beacon lock is holding. You are go.
The eastern half is a warehouse. 10 aisles running north-south. Still no sign of target. I see offices on the western side. Empty. I'm moving in for drone recon.
Negative. Hold position. Sending Cypher in to join you.
Deploying drone now.
Negative, Sova. Hold position.
There's a corridor. Doors on each side.
Bird's eye to Sova. You are to hold your current position and wait for backup. Confirm order.
I'm entering the first office. Jävlar.
He can't hear us.
Bird's eye to Sova. Do you read me? Sova, come in. Respond.
That is less than ideal.
Cypher, Neon. Advance to reestablish connection with Sova. Maintain stealth protocols.
Electric locks on the gates.
I got him.
Let's find our friend.
What was that?
You are both showing elevated vitals. I need a sit rep.
There's something in here, trailing us. What is that?
Cypher, watch out! I can't see.
Neon, where are you?
Cypher, Neon, report.
KO, we're blind in here.
Danger close, danger close!
Hang on! I'm coming in!
inside the chamber. Do you have any visual?
Merde. Negative. Adjusting angle.
Sova, come in.
On your right. I can't move. Get it off me. Another one incoming. Chambers loaded. Call out my targets. Breach is 8 o'clock. 10 meters. Direct hit. Oh, helvete. Pull back. Pull back. Moving up to reinforce. Covering. Chamber, it's on you. Leo, get out of there.
Wait, there they are!
Where?
The target's on the run. They're outside.
Setting voltage to auto. I'm going in.
KO negative. You're too high.
You are powerless. Freeze, hands in the air.
Don't move. Get them up, now!
Target secured. He's down. We got her.
Hold on. She was alone?
She's a Radiant.
My scanner's picking up chatter. Police incoming.
Something about this feels off. Of course it does. We didn't find the target. She brought us here.
You think it was a trap?
Hey, we have to move.
Order stand. Everyone rendezvous at the LZ. We're taking her back to base for interrogation. Move out.
What the fuck just happened, man? That was the whole movie, dude. What happened? That was the whole ass movie. Huh?
Hey. Okay. You need to go to Brimstone's office 2 more times. There are 3 different voice lines.
Why is it lagging? Oh, because of the stream, probably. Wait. Post it. That's lagging anyways. Ah, fuck off. Yeah, I need to rejoin completely.
Oh, okay.
Wait, is there something else? Like anything? Nothing on the whole map, nothing.
Just because we didn't notice that, I checked all the new stuff.
Oh. Fucking breach.
Oh. I didn't even notice you can go upstairs there.
Yeah, there's still nothing here though. Completely empty.
Oi, but cool.
Is the stream lagging at all? Because I'm down to 58 frames the whole time. It's so annoying.
It's
Got lag. Holy fuck, that was a huge lag. What?
Oh.
What did you say?
Yeah, it's lagging. Stream is lagging. There are like beep, beep.
Yeah, it's annoying. I can't
Stop
do
the
anything.
stream on
I want to go
Discord.
out. No, I want to go out. Let's just watch the match. I can do this later. We don't want to stream that with lags right now, and the lags won't stop. 100%. Hello, stream deck? Oh, thanks.
Basically just closes it completely.
That is absolutely huge. And initially, he was moving to get the flank, thinking that the players were already gone, that they were on their way to plant, and he hears that step behind him, and it's like Christmas came early for him. He couldn't believe his luck. 2 players running through his pit, not even looking at him. This right here. Were it not for the showstopper, I mean, he was spraying through that. It could have come close to taking Mako down.
I don't want to say it,
Matt
but
survives and
sound
wins
is
it out.
lagging
It's
again.
all around that Viper's pit. 11 on the board for DRX. Yeah.
Oh god, no, it's
3
lagging. Stop, Firefox, please. Fucking hell.
To far more situational,
Ah,
you still have that
that's so
Rolling
annoying.
Thunder available for an entry. Again, there's a lot of cool combination things you can do alongside that Yoru, stunning them up, not enabling them to be able to turn around to take that fight versus him. There's a lot of potential, but I don't know if he's necessarily going to be the focus point of this.
Seems like it's lagging the whole time right now.
They haven't checked the right as they go through, but they'll spam it anyways. Luckily, already had Mako drop down. Over towards the side. Paper X have been cleared out long with the Yoru.
What is the mind for this right now? Why is it lagging?
There's 3 players here ready to fight. Rolling Thunder for left side. They'll fight the right. And TP in on the back of the Rolling Thunder. Look how quickly Forsaken's already here. Able to eliminate RB and almost takes down Stacks with a sliver of HP. That's a quick frag for his teammates. Mako hasn't been spotted just yet, but they're ready. They knew he could be in the smoke. Zest quick to bounce back onto the site. They know the buzz is there. Really, Paper X didn't let anything slip there. That was such a clean round.
I don't know. It seems like it's
I really like the potential combinations of that Rolling Thunder, because normally you're gonna have yourself a raise in
probably
most
still
cases,
gonna lag
bots
with the stream off.
Yes, that's expected. The fact is, though, they have 2 players that can get in so desperately quick that it's impossible for them to check every single angle at once, because they're either trying to escape to make sure they're not just getting killed while they're stunned, or they're going, Raze is flying over my head! So you have to try and almost focus on that. There's so much distraction play within this composition, and yeah, then just holding on to the site at the end. 11-8. Remember, this was a 9-3 first half, and DRX are now back to just pistols. Again, still with a res if they get into a good spot. Oh, no. Well, there's the good spot, Mitch. There's the good spot.
Pretty good spot, yeah. They pushed down mid, got stunned by Breach, and managed to hit the shot swinging with the Sheriff. I mean, you get 1 bullet, 1 shot. They certainly didn't let it slip. These rifles are going to have a really tough time of recovering it. The one upside is that in the positions they killed them in, not wanting to over-aggress and lose their lives, they haven't retrieved those rifles. So the remaining players still only have pistols to play with.
Still, though, isolating these duels, not going to be easy.
Smoke's down.
I'm freak spotting one, but he's just gone straight into the site. He's an absolute madman. Well, RB will take that.
Like,
a
it's
quick
small-ed
trade,
off.
putting it into a 4 versus 2. It seems like a ruse, though. They're trying to fake this out, and they have pulled a rotation. If they can manage to isolate Marco, this round could go in their favor. However, they've got to find him first.
All they have to do is deal with Mako, but that can be a pretty tough round. They're clearing the right angle, but he's avoided them, and the timing was perfect. The shot not connected, though. And now stuck in the corner. It should be easy, Mind Freak. Being played with here. Oh, he's down to 19 HP. The classic comes out, and Stacks is there to save the day. Divide distracted by the teleport behind. You see just why it's not so easy to get rid of Mako. Hiding in that corner, buying so much time for the rotations to come through. DRX just looking unstoppable with 4 chances to close out this map and bring us to Ascent.
So dirty. It's just so dirty.
What did you say?
So much aggression across the map from DRX. It's
Say
not
that
the
there
norm
was a team that
of what
was
we see from them on this map in
ignoring
particular,
all
or
the
what we've seen
mollies.
so far. It's been much more passive, waiting
shouldn't.
for these aggressive plays to come through from Paper X, and that
You shouldn't
spanner in the
trust
work
mollies.
has basically
Are you
turned this
close to
now
your mic?
into a
Or
map
is
point
it
for them.
Yes,
a chance
I am.
to take us
I'm
to a
still
third, a
trying
chance
to
to take
talk
us to
quiet
Ascent,
because
which
you
within
say
their region has been a phenomenal
You don't
map
need
for
to.
them.
I already made it low again.
Somewhere I'm sure
I
they're
can't
gonna be
make it loud
incredibly
on
happy to
stream.
go.
I'm gonna die from stream.
To start this one out, Paper X are looking for mid control. Fighting up through Hood. They get it for free. DRX are content to just give this control up.
I don't even know if I'm
Realizing there
gonna
could be
stay
some
alive for the
weaknesses here
second
for
match.
Paper X. The judge always going to be scary. He has been
Like my
spotted
neck
up and above.
hurts and
Nade for
stuff.
backside. Going to push a player out of position. Mako in trouble. He ends up falling for the decoy.
Are you serious?
Forsaken?
Dear.
That was huge misread.
I don't think he spotted him. I think Marco managed to dodge within the tube, and because of that, it's all fallen apart. The aggression of Stacks is countered, though, and Divide has just gone massive. He's run out of bullets, though, and Buzz has killed the final 2. DRX are going to claim
Sorry that
their
I was so
opponent's
annoyed, by the
map
way, but you know
choice
how
just
annoyed
as
I am
Paper
by
X did before.
fucking lagging
13-8. We take this
with
one
no
to
reason.
3, and although I wanted to see the success of Yoru, I'm happy we're heading to a third.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not even
It
sure
seems to
what
be
we can
alright
see
now.
from Paper X that they haven't already brought to the table. The Yoru was incredible.
Is
I
it
think
alright?
Jing had a really tough map here. Maybe going back over to something like Arena, who knows? Things could change. But no, I
was
think
confused
realistically at
because they
this point,
didn't
this is the
have
series that
their
we hoped for. We
nicknames
knew
anywhere.
that
Now
Paper
I
X
see,
came
now I
in.
finally
Sure, they
see.
might be the underdog of sorts, but
It's
the
a
reality is they're putting up an incredibly strong fight. But DRX are such a well-oiled machine. It is just so nice to see some of these rounds, and even in the individual ability, like that ace clutch we had out of Stacks.
I'm not gonna
that's
play today.
ridiculous.
Well, that's the
is
thing.
it 1-1?
If this is
Doing
what
too bad,
Stacks
yeah.
plays like when he's not the IGL anymore, I don't want to see him IGL in a team ever again. The man was a literal god. He won so many rounds for them. 1v4 earlier in the game. Like, you start to realize how
yeah.
important some of those swing rounds really became, and he had multiple of them.
He absolutely did. I mean, he is popping off 24 and 11, closing out this map of Bind. If you want to point to one reason that they won, he's got to be the one.
Yeah, I know. I think this map alone already means that he's going to be in the player of the match vote later on. That was phenomenal. And yeah, it takes us to the third map of the series. As said, both these teams are very happy to play Ascent within their region. I would slightly lean it to DRX, but at this point, I think it's anyone's map.
And we've already seen a lot of upsets, whether it's in the maps themselves, each winning each other's map picks, or whether it's in some of the rounds that were kind of crazy. There's going to be plenty more crazy Valorant action coming up, though, with Ascent up next after this break.
Dream dreams, it seems are coming true. Bearing in mind it takes a toll. Descend the rabbit hole.
Jacob, willkommen! Du kennst mich, Mann. Einen guten Portschlüssel lasse ich mir doch nicht entgehen.
Wenn wir ihn besiegen wollen,
Muss jeder von uns eine Rolle spielen.
die neue Nummer 1 der Kinocharts.
Ich brauche jemanden, der meinen Unterricht morgen früh übernimmt.
Fantastische Tierwesen, Dumbledores Geheimnisse.
Wer würde da nicht auf uns setzen?
Im Kino.
Welcome back, everyone. DRX strong and steady, looking consistent, coordinated. Jess, it's the DRX we'd love to see.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of, shaking off map number one, their map pick, having to come in and win their opponent's map pick. That's always daunting, I think, because you know full well you're going up against a composition. Yeah, I think Tom said it very, very well. You're not prepared for. No one in the world is prepared for this kind of composition. That's fair enough. I think they played around it super well. We said in halftime they locked him down. They made sure he couldn't have the room to move. And when he did move, they locked him so far away from wherever they were that it was just obsolete from the beginning, which is such a shame.
Yeah, it just seemed like Paper Rex couldn't find a way to get in. DRX was just dominant throughout that map. Why do you think that was, Jess?
I mean, look at the man on the MVP. Stacks, God, he had a pretty good game. I will say that there's not a lot of Sky players I've seen a lot of my favorite Sky players in the world move to other agents, of course, as the changes with the agents have occurred. They've moved on to, different agent areas, different roles, but Stacks, when he plays this, when he plays KO as well, I love to watch him. I think he's quite an impressive player, and he makes the room for his team, and Macro stepped up right behind him as well.
I mean, both of them, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're big moments from both of those players, and it's so hard when you've got players who are playing as well as they are, because how do you deal with both, right? Like they're doing it from unconventional roles, they're doing it from unconventional places. This this shot right here.
That was
ace,
unreal. That
bro,
ace.
like,
Oh.
and that's what I'm saying. You're doing it as a Sky. You're doing it in a way that's very difficult to deal with. And when you've got so many players excelling in what's asked of them and over-delivering on what's not expected of them, it's very difficult to weather if you're Paper Rex. I think DRX came in here understanding that there was going to be something difficult thrown their way, and they adapted to it off of the Sage pick that Tom mentioned, which was bloody brilliant, by the way, in the fact that how they adapted around that pick, and there was just nothing that Paper X could do.
Yeah, and I love our head of broadcast, Stefan, was like, you know, Yoru, he looks cool, but that's kind of where it ends, Doug.
Yeah, it's been rough sledding for Yoru, man. At 0-4.
Oh,
0% win rate on the international stage. And that's the thing is, we've
hurts.
seen teams try it, right? They're trying to play around the agent because there is a lot of playmaking ability there, but historically it's been flat. It hasn't worked. Old Yoru, new Yoru. It's a tough thing to say.
It is. Say it 3 times fast.
The results are the same.
I mean, I don't think you have to say it for much longer, Doug, because I think we've seen with the 0% win rate is not something, even with the changes, that you can really implement well. You know, we heard in the interview, you know, Benkai and whatnot was speaking, of course, earlier on, like, there were so many different teams, like, scoffing at the Yoru and whatnot, but I think for Paper X, what they wanted to essentially achieve was the TP for them was, like, the sole reason that they wanted to have it. There's, like, it's such a power position, we can send in a fake out, we can do this, we can do that. I'm like, that's great, but after 3 rounds, I know you're doing that, and you might trick me once, but at that point, we have the utility to deal with that. We know that you're doing that.
And even his ultimates felt underwhelming.
Yeah.
I think about in the first half, if I remember correctly, he had his ult for 3 or 4 rounds, was just sitting on it, finally decides to use it and grabbed a good bit of information, but there was just not enough. When you're going to risk a pick like that, it's got to be hot, and it just wasn't.
Yeah, and let's talk about Map 3 Ascent. It's next. I don't know. Man, the last 2 maps, they have been really, really fun to watch. I really do not know how Map 3 is going to go down. Jess, you just had that sigh there. So,
I did.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the great thing here for sort of DRX fans is now that they've come back on their, you know, opponents mapping and everything like that, they've played Ascent recently, and they've had really good performances on it. Unfortunately for Paper X, they haven't played this since February. So for them, they're probably scrimming it, so it's not going to be outside of the world of possibilities that they're going to be ready for. But I will say, at least in competitive play, there is recency bias in my head when it comes to DRX. There's some really good performances on it. And I also prefer the composition that they've been running, at least recently, way more than Paper X's composition, which it's right for us to question compositionally Paper X after we just saw it sort of flop a little bit there on Bind.
No, I think you're right. I think it ultimately comes down to whether or not DRX are going to be able to weather what Paper X are going to throw their way. We know they have something cooked up, right? We talked about the Reyna on Haven, the Yoru on Bind.
I'm still confused.
And on
like,
Haven,
they played so
they
well.
were not able to handle the pressure that came off of Reyna's Leers and off of how they stacked their utility. I think it will come down to whether or not
and then
they
the
can
second
handle
map, they let
what
it like
Paper X have
go
cooked
for
up.
some reason.
There's something there, right? Like, you know there's a trap set.
Yeah.
It's how they handle
Are
it. If
there-
they handle it, they're fine. They'll be okay.
Are there any ideas of what that trap could be?
Oh gosh, there's no telling. With
No
Paper Rex.
telling.
It would be disingenuous for us to sit here because you could just speculate all day and then we would have 12 pages of ideas and we might still be wrong. So I think that it's kind of like the Team Liquid-esque kind of story that we have in EMEA sometimes. We're like, what are they going to bring? And then they do this and we're like, could not have told you that on the analyst desk because we just
got to wait and
that
see
at all,
for
so,
sure. Okay. So yeah, I mean, Map 3, we're 1-1. I know y'all hate predictions, but are you leaning one way or another? I mean, this has really been a wild series to say the least. So Doug, I'll put you in the hot seat first.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I don't mind predictions because every time that I've been right, and I'm only right when I'm not wrong, right? So my rate there is actually through the roof, way better than Yoru's win rate in the international stage. I like DRX a lot here. I really do. I think they've shown the ability to adapt, to come into a game plan, come in with a game plan that can address some of the curveballs that are being thrown their way. I expect to see that again on Ascent. I'm certainly leaning towards DRX here.
I mean, they've won every Ascent they've played this entire year. The last time they lost it was narrowly against Cloud9. Throwback there a little bit, of course. So, you know, I'm going back. I'm going back to last year. So, yeah, this is going to sound more impressive when I say it like this. They have not lost a sense since last year. Excuse that we've only had a few months in this year, but it sounds rather impressive if you put it like that. Yeah.
Well, Benkai seems like he's ready to go having a staring contest with the cameraman there.
Does he realize that's not the camera that What are they?
I don't-
Oh, the little
he's worked it out.
eyes.
There we go.
You know, do you think if he put the Viking hat on, maybe it would help them out a little bit?
I mean, maybe.
I hope there's more than just a hat there
No. So both of you were saying you don't think it's it for Paper Rex, because I mean,
I don't think
yesterday-
it's outside of the realms of possibility.
Yeah.
I just think if you were to seriously make me sit here and make a proper prediction of who I think would win, DRX have the recency bias check. They also have a better composition depending on if there's changes. And just overall, DRX and playing on Bind, if they shut down Forsaken that way, and that's been a lot of the game plan for Paper Rex time and time again in their own region, then they just need to replicate that on a map where their composition, the agents they're bringing in regards to KO and whatnot, will shut that down time and time again.
I think the interesting thing as we think about Paper X's perspective is that their game plan did not change from map 1 to map 2. Right? Like there was spice there that they brought in with the Reyna. There was spice there that they brought in with the Yoru, and the outcomes were entirely different. So you look at that and you go, okay, what do Paper X need to do in order to take Ascent? It's their bread and butter, a little extra spice, right? But where does the spice come from? Because I don't think the plan should deviate. I do think they should continue to play with that because it keeps them unpredictable. It's very difficult to prepare against. But the thing is, it has been countered once already. So it's hard to lean into that and go, okay, how far into the bag of tricks do we go?
So explain to me why. Why stick with the atypical agents? Why not scale back then?
Well, because I think that's their calling card. That's what's gotten them this
So
far.
stick with your identity.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Stick with what's worked historically.
Yeah.
Yes, you just got kind of hit back, right? And in a pretty rough way. While there was a run at it at the end, it certainly wasn't as competitive as I think they would have liked. The playmaking that they were looking for didn't execute at the end of the day.
Okay, and we are ready to move into our Prime Gaming Agent Select. And Jess, what are we thinking for compositions here?
Left-hand side of the screen, that's where everyone's eyes has got to be, because if it stays the same, which it won't, Mindfreak's been playing the Omen through and through, so that's not so much of a surprise. But that's what I want to see. This is when I said I didn't like their composition before, is because they didn't have a KJ. They didn't have a KJ. We know that DRX runs the KJ.
There's a lot here. There's a whole lot.
Can we unpack? This is a lot to unpack, Doug. So you explain the right hand. So you're sitting on the right hand side of the desk, at least in my position here. And then we can try and explain the left, because they swapped compositions almost.
But this goes back to what we
I
were
don't know if he's
talking
in
about.
chat.
Spice. There's got to be something that can keep the opponents on the back foot, and changing into the Omen, massive playmaking ability. KJ has far more control than KO. The ability to unlock his duelist to create space for them to work. I love this set of Paper X. I really do.
Dropped the KO. It's gone. Jackie. I don't know, girlfriend.
I know you hate when I say it, but we are shook. But let's get into map 3 Ascent. Mitch and Tom, take it away.
Well, we are set up for a pretty exciting matchup here, Tom. Things not exactly going down as we expect in the series and a lot of the rounds, and now Agent Select Map 3 kind of gone wild.
I think they tried to counter each other. Like, I legitimately think that. So last time that we saw DRX play, they used an Omen and a KJ, and the last time we saw it for Paper X, they used Astra in a Chamber. Now, the other side have swapped to an Omen and a KJ, and they've swapped to an Astra in a Chamber. I think both teams wanted a mirror match, and instead have ended up going for opposite agents. The only other change is Stack switching from KO to Sky to stop them having a mirror match in that regard. So I think both teams have tried to, like, outbrain each other, and they've ended up on each other's choices.
I know that
it's
really good for the
madness.
as well.
Not exactly
but I
the
think
Agent
Killjoy
Select
just
either
takes
team would have
takes the
expected, I'd imagine.
cake, yeah.
We're diving on into map number 3, round 1 of Ascent with Paper X on the defense. But again, they're the ones attacking, moving in the middle, taking those fights, and they have stopped DRX from going anywhere near that part of the map. Instead, they switched direction over to A, and now they're slowed down by the paranoia. Gotta wait a moment, shock dart in, now here comes the push.
Oh, the shock dart's done so much damage. Look at the HP of the DRX players as they've entered the site. I don't think you're going to see much more from a single shock dart. It doesn't matter, though. Buzz connecting a crazy shot off the back of his pistol. They've also got the drone to try and hold them back. I say that, never mind. Benkai just goes jumping through. Buzz ends up with a 4K. And DRX, even though they took so much damage on the way in, will still get the round.
Out of ammo in the Headhunter, down to 8 HP. That means Buzz is and ducks down and says, look, I'll at least try to distract them while they come down.
He got the 4 kills after he was down.
Look
to AHP.
Tucked here, bang, bang, easy as can be, dropping down, taking both. And that is 1-0 with a 4K for Buzz. Now, that is actually kind of huge because he is going to be close to the tour de force coming into Paper X's full buy. So keep an eye on Buzz this round. If he gets 3 kills, 2 kills and an orb, whatever, any combination that results in him having the ult online, then the next round gets astronomically difficult for Paper X.
Well, he's playing close to B as well. I wonder if there's no aggression out from the defensive side, which very unlikely. You're up against Paper X. But he might just go and grab that orb, and then it's even less. It's like, what, 1 orb
Stream is too loud.
die, or 1 orb kill die. Like, that's going to get him enough to actually get it. Instead, though, it is very passive from Paper X.
No, I'm talking like this. Is it really too loud?
What sort of aggression's coming through? DRX are expecting something. They're expecting a move on the other side. And
I was
because
just too
there's
far
been
away,
no
I guess.
information other than a single drone, which will make it into A,
Because
they
I'm
rotated
sitting like
everybody.
this.
Yeah,
And then
this
I'm
is
exactly
huge.
the same
Device realizing he
volume.
can't really make a play through that at the start. Tries
He
to
then unrealized it and ran through the smoke.
Yep, and it went as expected. Buzz now with his third kill of the round, and you know what that means. Next round, we are going to have that ultimate online. Also, you can send
What's it called again?
Just still the JstDave.
Beautiful.
I was practicing it with Enzo all weekend, so don't worry. This is going to be really tough, and I mean, for DRX, they can lose a weapon now. They wouldn't even care, but I suppose Buzz can have that backup of a Spectre to play with a Tour de Force. That's going to be such a tough round for Paper X. It's a flawless, a Prime Gaming flawless round 2. You really couldn't wish for a better start to this map if you're DRX.
No, literally, unless maybe you had RB somehow.
I guess I
getting a
really
load
was
of
too
kills
far
and
away.
all as
Sorry.
But
Sure.
I feel like that's one of the most
ambitious.
ambitious
My
things
God.
you could ever hope for. So yeah, the fact that Buzz is going to go in, and for those of you who maybe just started watching DRX, you're like, okay, well I've seen Buzz play a little bit of Jet, but ultimately he's your Sentinel player. Why are they getting so excited? This guy was absolutely nuts last year playing the duelist role. Like, he is an incredibly aggressive player, someone who is fantastic with the operator, and a lot of people when they saw him switch to Sentinel were basically like, well, he's just going to be on Chamber the whole time. His Killjoy was a massive surprise. Nobody expected that. If they did, a bit weird. But either way, the fact that he now gets this going into the round, and just look at the sheer pace of the rest of the team. They are just running. They're blitzing their way in. Device got through the smoke again! He just ran in there for the second time, but...
What
okay,
is with Buzz?
Okay.
He's not even doing it with the Tour de Force. He gets it! The 4th kill! He won't close out the round.
What is the
that
flag,
responsibility is left to Mako. But man, oh man,
Why?
has he
Oh,
done
dude,
some
why
light
am I
work.
too low?
1v1 spike retrieved. Forsaken
fuck it
trying
then.
to sneak his way behind. This is the
gonna keep
full
it on
buy for
100.
Paper Rex. And it's
Sorry
come
if it's too
down to
low
an
then, but
unbelievably
if you
close
can't hear me,
scenario.
it's never
Mako
mind.
is on his way to A, and he's pretty much guaranteed a spike plant.
I need a tactical pause. I don't know if I can carry on with the rest of this round. Even still, though, it could be ruined by Forsaken. He's got good positioning, the timing even better, but the smokes actually mask that spot, and because the rest of the angles are cleared, Marco is able to just hold back in a position where he has to almost fight him close. Forsaken, though, slowly making his way, but Marco just decides to swing him. Ego the man, and they will take themselves the bonus. Production, give me that slow-mo right now, because that, like, I don't
What
care about
happened
this
there?
shot. I definitely don't care about this one. Yeah, these ones are nice. Give me this one. What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
get out of here, man.
The
Get out of here.
hell was that?
You can't. And the best part is, Tom, he had the Tour de Force online the whole time. He could have switched to it. It was just as quick as going to the Headhunter. Pull it out, go for the shots. But no, he's like, oh, I'm just going to run at them with a Spectre. Kill 2, down to the Headhunter, full
Also,
blind, headshot that guy. Get out of here, man.
Whoever decided to put that clip from his POV without the X-ray, you're my favorite human being.
Yes.
Because I don't think people realized how BS that shot was until you see what he saw, which was nothing.
Oh my God. Paper X have got to be absolutely devastated after that round. I mean, we theorized that Buzz could have impact. The Tour de Force would be a key part, and yeah,
They got one kill.
It opened the round, but but it did nothing other than that. It was a Spectre, a full blind Headhunter, and a beautifully timed clutch by Mako. I mean, every part of that. The smoke he put down, crossed to underneath, and then he counted to 10 in his head, peeked out wide, caught him off guard. It literally could not have been better. DRX are just on
What is the
fire.
video set for Valorant, by the way? Note coming out right now.
Patient as well. They know again that they're up against mostly pistols.
Oh, they're streaming with 8K and with
Forsaken's
low
having a little
thing.
jiggle. Now he's in
Low
an aggressive
latency.
enough position, but again, it's the
Even
same.
though I think that's a normal
They've just
latency
used
on
a
it.
single
I need to reload. These lags are fucking annoying me, honestly.
They should expect this. It's Forsaken after all, but he's gonna actually.
Oh my god!
Oh, I love watching this guy play. His brain does not work like anybody else's. No one else would do that.
That was like Doctor Strange seeing all the possibilities. The only way he gets away with that, and it's so quick, man. So close. Oh my. Well, he got the kill, and that was good and everything with the shorty, and it was fun to watch, but, you know, they are in an eco after all, and everybody else is just being ruined.
Yeah, the only other thing is I have a feeling he popped his knives.
Forsaken did?
Yes. We'll see. I could be wrong. Maybe I imagined that in the confusion of everything
How much
going
is he
on,
right now?
but I think after he used the short.
He died only once, right?
Yeah, he popped his knives.
Oh, no. There's the dash in. Oh, they saw him on the edge as well.
He got me so. Imagine, like, Marco doesn't even react.
Wait.
Like, he just like, yes.
Yeah, Matt was spraying him
13-1.
down. Did he kill someone in spawn?
He is
with the
carrying DRX right now. He is legit carrying.
I didn't even notice in the replay because I was watching for the guy at the shorty inside the smoke.
Like other people are
Basically,
doing
that was our
stuff, but
focus.
he
Yeah, I
is
thought he-
carrying.
But either way,
13-1 in 4 rounds.
That's actually insane.
He's averaging more than 3 a round.
In the first 4. Well, here comes the full buy for Paper X.
I'm done.
I mean, better chance than we've had so far for them. Operator in the hands of Forsaken, and it's holding
Yeah, I
a
think
long.
he was gambling on a trap being there. So
I'm
that's why that smoke looks weird.
Yes.
But he's hoping that he's smoked off a trap. But instead, it's actually a lot deeper. Now, this does still give an awful
I'm
lot
gonna
of
close
control.
submissions in a second.
And
After
actually
this one, I'm
putting
gonna
smokes
close
down for his
submissions.
teammates. So Mindfreak is happy to just
I
sit
think
here.
5
This gives
rounds
them
are
the
enough.
A site unlock other than mid, and it means they can gamble the rotate over into B, which has been a high point of contention in these early rounds.
Yeah, I don't mind him putting the smoke down here at all for his teammate. He could try to make that sneaky
Oh,
play behind,
nice
but why when
Forsaken.
they've got so much control? And that's exactly why they're content to sit still. The operator holding down the A side. They've got A long locked and a stack up on B. Killjoy utility revealing that these players have come up through middle. Great turret placement as well, just to gather all that information. This is something the Paper X have planned from the very start of the round, and DRX are walking right into the trap. That is dangerous though, caught with a flash out. Luckily they're able to keep it in their favor. Not really though. DRX quickly answering back. Jing gonna try to pop the flash around, swinging through. The spray is good for 1, but not for 2. DRX now at the advantage.
Oh my
and
god,
Mako
man.
closing that round out beautifully.
Yes,
4
it's
kills
like,
for him there.
what is that?
The
What
thing
is
with this round
that?
as well is like you talk about like Paper X having this stack up. DRX use Seekers. They
submissions.
knew how many players were in that site and decided to challenge them anyway. Decided to push in. This team is feeling incredibly confident at this point. How many players have we now seen run through that smoke? I feel like it's almost just something in the back of Marco's head. It's like someone's gonna go through it, aren't they? But yeah, again, solid positioning from him. No surprise that Paper X are going to call themselves a timeout. 5-0 down. The manner of which they've been losing these rounds as
DRX
well.
timeout,
Just
yeah, they
look
need
at the
that.
cash that's currently stacked up. The lowest player has 4,600 credits, and that's going in with a 4-buy. Sure, ultimates are definitely leaning into the favor of Paper X, but again, a lot of them are going to be very situational, like having a lockdown prepared for a retake. Maybe they gamble a bit more towards B and mid and try to play that A side, but we know that every person has got themselves shock dart lineups at this point. Everyone and their nan has them, so
the whole Discord for them.
There is, yeah, that is true.
With 5-0 on the board, things do start to get scary when you even consider the fact that so far, obviously Buzz is 13-2, a pretty good game, not leaving a lot of kills for everyone else. RB's not on the board at all. You know, obviously entering through, he's got a tough role and he's being dashed with a shorty. You know, he's having a tough enough time there. But the thing is, even in that round, he dies to the shorty. The trades are there instantaneously. They take the space. So he's doing his role. But the thing that I'm getting to is if RB on the defensive side,
he
is going to
even like they
also
need
be
to
a
save this one.
big threat in terms of fragging
And
power.
if they lose this one,
Sure,
they
here
can
he's
maximum
gonna be
get a
nerfed by the entry
6-6 out of
ability,
that.
But there's a whole
That's for
second half
Ascent
coming,
is
and so
not
far
good at all.
PaperX have built
Not
no
good at all.
foundations for that.
For
They need to
defense as
start
well.
stepping it up, and
They're
it
gonna
doesn't
have a
get easy
huge
here
problem
because,
on
again,
tag.
not a whole
They're
lot of
good,
cash, so they've gotta come
and
in here with
like
just
they could
scraps
get
in the
this,
area.
but
Yeah,
it's
in
gotten
theory,
so
they
much
could try
harder.
and get
Like
themselves the
at
Hunter's
this
Fury off
moment.
the back of an orb. But again, like the orbs on this map are horrible. Like to try and get them when you're on that defender side is incredibly difficult. And you can see RB, he knows their plan. He has a teammate alongside him in case there's some sort of pop flash. He can just stay behind and just swing off the back of it. It's a nice setup just to try and deny that extra control. And that's what DRX is so good at. Maybe the best at. Just these very slow defaults. I'll give a shout out to Loud as well. I think they did an incredible job the other day versus Liquid. Maybe not so much on Haven, but on the other maps, forget about that. It happens.
It does. It does. I mean, it very nearly happened here. DRX's bounce back on Bind was unbelievable. Oh, the shock dart's huge! Look at that damage! The reveal as well.
Oh my god!
From the Sheriff. 2 kills found.
That's what they need.
Huge damage done. Shields stripped away from most of these players. The Hunter's Fury's maybe a little overcommit, but considering the buy, they've got to make sense. Great flash in with the stinger.
Oh.
And that is decimation from Jing. Only Mako left alive, and he'll get one, but he needs the ace clutch to come out ahead in this round. The eco for Paper X. And yet, they've made it look phenomenal.
You take a tactical pause, and this is what you come out with. Like, amazing stuff. There's so little time left. They really want to try and kill off Marco just to get that remaining weaponry, juggle it between the other players, but that was just beautiful. The shock dart timing, then also having the dart afterwards just to make sure that you can finish off some of those remaining players who are trying to scatter away from the utility. I think there was actually a nano swarm in the middle as well, just to try and almost push them that little bit further forward. And yeah, how many times are you going to see a double Sheriff wallbang? Never.
I mean, initially they moved out of the way in the nano swarm. They walked forward, then they stepped back
to get a huge advantage here, they need like a good advantage here. They need to get the 7-5 though, and that's almost impossible.
Way to make it work with a low buy with practically nothing to work with. They didn't even have to see half their opponents. 5-1, the first round for Paper X. Now they've got to do it on a full buy though, and that's where there's been some
no charges left and no smokes. That's what you get when you don't play by smoke.
Bouncing all the way back. Some pre-fire shots not too far away from Benkai, and again they're going to go back for middle control. But look at what the defenders have done in the meantime. They've already taken the A extremity. You can see also the push up into B. They may not have mid, but they have control elsewhere. The only worry at the moment is the potential for them to push through towards the spawn, and you can already spot that there's a rotation coming to try and counter that.
Covering all their bases, Paper X know the gaps they're leaving open. With this smoke just fading away. Oh, actually the rotates come back. That drone really selling it in towards short. It spotted the Killjoy up close. Buzz with a quick shot on the operator, and he's out of there just as quickly. Now set up to move in towards B with his teammates. Jing able for one, but the trades are instantaneous, and Forsaken has an operator. He might be good to catch them all for one, but now it becomes difficult. They'll start to burn up utility getting towards them, but with a smoker already gone, it's so difficult to block vision of that operator. They decide instead it's going to be easier to move back to A.
He's ready with the paranoia. Shot not connected, but he slowed them down. There's still some utility available, and actually they don't expect him to still be here. He's going to look to shut it out, and then Devi just waiting on the cross. Another trap set by Paper X, and another round in their corner.
Yeah, that was huge by Mindfreak. A risk that paid off tenfold. Tucking in that corner after popping the paranoia, they assumed he's going to hold back and try to run the clock down. I mean, there was like 15 seconds left, so if he can drop the spike on the way across or make it a little more difficult for them, but instead he catches them completely off guard. And knowing the alarm bot was there as well definitely helped him out.
Wait,
just continuing to hold that, knowing that
APAC is Asian Pacific.
A second round found for Paper
I don't
X,
know.
but
AC,
because of the
what's
streak
that?
of rounds that DRX
And
have found,
KR is
they're buying
Korea,
up yet
right?
again.
Yeah, and they're also very close to some incredible ultimates on the attacking side. So they do have to be a little bit careful not to allow them that orb control. And again, you could just see the challenges coming through. A very deep push for Forsaken, but I think he knows he's been spotted. So it doesn't want to overpeak, doesn't want to give the game away, but we'll just keep that little bit of control.
For the most part, this will be a slow round from Paper X, and the main point of aggression being Forsaken. But as time goes on, and with that drone going up short, there's a chance that they start to get aggressive. But here comes the Trailblazer in to clear it out, pushing him all the way back. He has avoided being spotted and instantly reposts on the angle. Shot not going to connect. Now under a lot of pressure, has a teammate here to help him. And the key thing being that it's Jing. He can pop a flash through that smoke and try to close in the distance. The shorty connects, but not for the kill. Jing able to trade, but he's taken down. And now DRX might have control of the site. Mindfreak is back in Boathouse, having TP'd in. But they'll know that. This is the standard play for an Omen in this kind of round. They're ready to clear it out together, and Buzz doesn't even need any help.
30 seconds left.
Hook down into play. They should be able to get that plant off, and actually, they're going to look to try and aggress onto it. Ben Kai, he's holding that corner. Spray down for Divine, but that's all they really needed. They've destroyed the lockdown and forced him back into the site. Gonna have to try and swing off this. Marco is incredibly low, just hiding within that smoke, and he doesn't know that this close angle is currently being held. A chance for a headshot angle, and Stax isn't gonna miss that one. DRX
Okay,
right back
6-6.
again, and well,
Maximum you can get right now.
Yeah, another really solid play. Having Mako inside the smoke really maximizes his low HP.
Bad
The
ult.
player
How
tries
was
to push
that a bad
through,
ult?
and then obviously they're able to just double
That was the
swing out
only
to
chance
close
for them
it.
to get back.
This was ridiculous. I mean, he got jumped on with the shorty, only half his HP stripped, and then the
Only
trade
good
was
mana.
instant from the rest of DRX, getting past that utility.
Like if they
that
would have
had
pulled
slowed them
that
down and
that
initially
ult
breaking through the
better,
choke point.
they would have gotten
Sixth
that.
round found. It's not going to pressure.
If the
Paper
ult
X
would
too
have gone
much
off, it
economically,
would have
but
gotten
they
all
don't
three
have
of
any
them.
ultimates. They committed a lot to that round and didn't manage to walk away with it. That leaves them on square one, whereas DRX, on the other hand, have a lot to work with. I mean, look at that ultimate economy. Only 3 orbs needed for them to have all 5 to work with, and they're all very impactful.
They're going for these aggressive plays again. Mid being battled for, so much damage being taken, but these crossfires pushed through from Forsaken. It's so risky, but he's just hitting the headshots left and
my
right, and they're
God.
just trying to flee, running
One
away
bullet
from a
moment.
man in form at the moment, looking to try and punish on towards this A site. And looking for the spot onto Mind Freak, but he's found another as well. These weaker purchase rounds just seem to fall apart sometimes. These aggressive rounds, and he's just switching corners every second that goes by. But again, the trades come back.
What?
Forsaken takes one through the wall, and it's left to Marco.
Oh, I like this. He's going to go through his own smoke. He should be trying to take control of heaven in their mind, but they turn back at just the right moment to catch him. Walking right into the 2 players. There's a 3rd round to Paper Rex. A good bounce back for them yet again. They lost the 1 round. They're eager to fight back. Now Bladestorm online as well coming into this. For DRX, finally, we're starting to see them have some money struggles.
Yeah, I really love, though, the fact that they have those sort of set
Oh, that was yeah.
like just
Those shots
when
were
a
so
round
nice.
where things aren't ideal, they just go, okay, what's something out of the strat book that we can pull out for this exact moment? And so far, they've been right with the majority of them. It's actually in the more defaulty rounds that they have a problem. Now, something you mentioned is the potential vulnerabilities in the economy, which is definitely there right now. You're going to have the majority of players able to buy. The difference, though, you got a Bladestorm. So that's already 1 player able to have a free purchase. You've also got yourself a Tour de Force, which is another player who has a free purchase. So the economy is seemingly dissipated. Oh, did I mention the other 3 ultimates are all also online? So although, again, weaponry-wise, by the looks of it, if you didn't have those agents, it would be a problem.
Yeah.
The DRX, I would bank on them winning this round because they've got so much to play with.
Yeah, I mean, Buzz can drop a weapon.
Intervalo.
RB doesn't have the money to, but at that
Mola.
point, they're already equalized
Yeah,
up.
they're fine.
Stacks and Zash can buy. Nice and comfy. And that's the beauty of this. It's something that Lothar talks about a lot
So
on
what
the
is
analyst
it,
desks
English?
in the MEA, which is that when you're playing a jet
Korean?
and a chamber, you just get these free buy rounds. Like right now,
I don't
this
know.
should be an eco for the majority of teams, but just on the back of
Japanese?
the ultimates, they don't only get a buy, they get an insanely strong one. Bladestorms, especially from Korean teams, can single-handedly win you a round, and we've already seen the impact that Buzz can have with, I guess, 1 shot from a Tour de Force and a Spectre.
yeah, they maybe have a backup weapon there, Buzz, because I think you'd be better
And the
with
Headhunter's
majority.
pretty
That could
good.
maybe be
I
Spanish.
didn't even need to see them.
Some
But yeah, I think it's a crunch round for sure, especially being on that defensive side for Paper X. Like
It's
3
Arabic, I
rounds
think.
to the 6 on the other side is not particularly looking great.
So at English,
sure, you have Forsaken
I don't
who
know
has
what that
chance
is.
to take over, and he's had a couple of rounds
I
just
don't
like
know.
that. It does seem though that at least for now,
What is
they're
intervalo?
banking on those sort of plays. Like you've got 3 of the rounds they've got. One of them is
Well, that's
Forsaken running
Turkish.
down mid and managing to find the kills. The
How many
other
languages
is that
are there?
sort of like the setup that they had in towards B. I can't remember what the last one is, but it's still 3. Like they haven't managed to win many standardized rounds. And as said, on the other side, well, having this many on.
Well, now, early aggression out of this Bladestorm, and it actually connects. Spike dropped.
He's
And
going.
they're just rushing it right down, taking that control out of the hands of DRX. This is going to be a huge problem fighting back into the Bladestorm. Smoke down as well to fight through. But it is the Sky on the other side. Trailblazer starts it out. Make sure that they are close. They'll probably burn the flash here. just a moment to get on through. In fact, they don't need to. RB popped his own Blade Storm and took the space right back.
Yeah, the thing is they've had to use a fair amount of utility just to get that. So you've had to use a gravity well, you've had to put some extra utility out just to try and make sure that you can actually get the spike back. So although, yeah, sure, it's managed to be recovered, there still needs to be a lot more spent in this round. And DRX may not necessarily have the utility available to do it.
Still a Cosmic Divide online, though, from Mako. That could come in to block some of the vision cones, but just look at Paper Rex. 4 players stacked up here. They know exactly what's going on, but they don't know about RB's flank. Another kill coming through, and this time the Blade Storm for the attackers. RB going to close in the distance, and the pressure on Devi is massive. A Blade Storm kill off to the Vandal. Buzz is coming in with the tour de force. This side is theirs. Forsaken sneaking through middle's even going to be caught. And nothing is working out for Paper Rex in this round. 7 for DRX. That is a devastating blow to Paper Rex.
They need the 7-5. Now they need it. Now they need the 7-5.
Where they're at economically again, calling it back. No ultimates to play with.
They
this
can't
is
lose
looking like
more
a
rounds
roll
than this.
round for DRX, and them getting 8 on the attack and
Oh, I don't have
potentially
IF
pushing to
inverted
9.
over there.
Oh, that's not pretty.
Yeah, I think it's one of those spots where DRX use 4 ultimates to basically give them that extra round, and there's very little you can do about it, and especially when they get caught out, because I think the initial play was very good. Even the amount of utility it wasted, a free kill off the bat, it's just not ready for that short flank to come through. Forsaken is just going, sprinting all the way up. Now, they've had this spot. They've been patiently waiting for this push for many, many rounds.
He's the only player with a weapon. He's got the Guardian. 2 players already fallen. And in fact, the second one was Forsaken. With him down, the weapon's lost. Mind Freak tries to push up through B main, take the space alongside his teammate Jing, but they don't get anything done. Spotted from afar by the rifles. The control is lost. And now DRX have got free reign. They have nothing really to fear as long as they can trade out in 1-to-1 fights. And up against Sheriffs, that should be pretty doable. They don't have the rate of fire to take you down if you're playing those duo fights. And really, for Paper X, the hope here is that it's going to be a B main play, that they can catch them off with Mind Freak, with the Paranoia, with the flashes. Jing doesn't have any flashes left, but with Jing's tucked in the corner, but DRX are going the other way. They've got some good old game sense, some good gambles.
Well, maximum they can get 8-4, and they need to get it. No way they're gonna win this. It's 3 pistols against 5 rifles. It's
well, he will have heard the drone. They've also got
no
aggressive
way.
on the other
Literally
side,
no
so
way.
rotations will be coming through in a moment, but I would be gobsmacked if this is not going to be checked, and RB, well, that's it. It's already over. I love this as well. If you go back and watch through the previous rounds in this map so far, DRX have been holding for that push almost every single time. Like, Buzz has been just waiting in and off angle on mid. They haven't been taking that early tiles control to make sure that if he's going to dash in there, he's not going to get any kills. That is a direct counter to what they expect from Forsaken, and finally, it's paid off for them. He won't be doing that again.
Well, it's exactly what we spoke about, the term disruption. You can't disrupt their play if they are sitting back in their default waiting for you to push forward. You're playing into their hands, and obviously there's no way to know that. It's a lesson that unfortunately comes with a pretty heavy cost. In this round at least, it was an eco, so the hope was very low. You throw out a Hail Mary play like that, but it didn't work out. Jing, well, I mean,
we're trying to hold them into the spike, but
they're going to be able to walk around that, go into the corner if he can get a kill or two, but the reveal, oh, well, Mako's gone now. It's something.
It doesn't matter, though, and that's the problem, because, yeah, going into the last round, 4 players surviving, there is plenty of cash to drop this man a weapon.
3-9 help you.
6,000 credits if they ever needed anything extra, so a very, very good half coming in for DRX. I think, yeah, they've been dealt a couple of blows by some incredible set plays from Paper X, but ultimately, their default rounds, their holds, their sort of
I'm not gonna do a lot
the
today.
Early rounds from Buzz as well have been phenomenal.
Because
He's
I have to
18
work
and 6.
early,
He
I'm
slowed
just
down a
gonna
bit.
chill.
He slowed down a little bit.
Pretty
Yeah, okay,
much.
if he kept that kind of pace, though.
Probably
13
after
kills
stream,
in 4
just gonna
rounds.
watch like
So,
the
he's
series
not
or
done
something.
anywhere near as much in the rest, but it's not really been needed.
Oi. Didn't know
your
you
main
can
criticism
wallbang
is
that
Buzz
small
isn't
piece
getting
there.
70 kills in the game. I think you're in a pretty good spot. And DRX, you know, the precautions that they take when they're up against these weaker buys, sure, we've seen that slip a little bit, but you can't be perfect all the time. We're not Tom. There's a compliment. See, yeah, you probably didn't think that was coming.
No.
I saw you think for a second. Wait, was that an insult? No,
Yeah,
that's a nice thing.
Huh.
This final round here, worth its weight in gold for Paper X.
Oh, that's great. This Crossfire was just waiting for them to try and make some sort of move into mid. One of the only rounds that's really worked for them, and it's a slaughter. Again, I think DRX have an incredible read on what's currently going on, and because of that, Paper X are almost just playing into their hands. Every push
Wow.
is tempered, is waited for, and Divide, the only hope. He'll get a couple of kills, but ultimately they're just consolation frags. DRX, another
29.
fantastic first half. We've seen it throughout this series, Mitch. Is it enough?
I mean, at this point, going on to the defensive side, I feel like it just might be, but luckily, we don't have to make that call. There's some big brains on standby. Let's toss it over to the analyst desk and see what they make of Paper X's chances.
Aw, Mitch. Thanks for that compliment, calling
very
us big
complimentary, yeah.
brain. Thank you. Okay, but DRX just taking off full throttle there. I mean, they looked incredibly sharp on map 3. We've been talking a lot about Mako, but buzzing, Jess.
I like that there. That's, you know what, that one wasn't so cringy, so I'm gonna jump on the train with that one.
Okay.
The man on your screen said in an interview recently, teams who are not
That is more than a 3
Chamber into
KD.
their compositions on multiple maps
In a
are
tournament
behind
match.
the times. Now, do I think Chamber, the agent for him specifically, was why he was able to drop 20 kills, 6 deaths? No, I think he probably could have, you know, achieved that on multiple different agents. However, it was the ability for him to be a pseudo-duelist sentinel for the team that they had initially replaced their composition of taking away the KJ. How does that look for them? How do they implement it? How does Buzz fit into that? Well, I tell you what, it's pretty damn nice. It's like having that last piece of the puzzle. It just slides on in and things look nice and pretty.
Yeah, alternatively, Jess, it feels like Paper X are playing a bit scared.
Okay.
Right? There's a clip in particular that I saw out of Mindfreak. He had established so much A main control, right? There's a fight happening elsewhere on the map as we pull it up very quickly. He gets so much A main control, right? He walks up with the jet, he's able to take the space, and then he kind of posts up. And this is a very different look from what we've seen from them previously, because while there's a hit that's about to happen on A, and as soon as the Buzz dies, that should be his cue to go, but he continues to sit. Right, there's no threat of an alarm bot. By the time he finally pulls the trigger and goes, the play's over. He shows up to the side, it's like a 1vx. There's no way he can make anything happen there. They're playing timid.
It's so funny because the only person that supposedly is allowed to be late to the party and everyone else is just early is the queen. Now, do I think that he is the queen? No. So you can't rock up to the party late, my friend. That's not what happens. And given how quickly he flanked on Haven, I don't get it.
All right, well, let's see how the second half turns out, and we will hand it back over to Mitch.
I'm pretty sure DRX is going to win
Well,
this.
it's time to kick things off with half number 2. Paper X certainly have a big task on their hands here.
Just playing
DRX have
better
just been
now.
on fire in every single way, individually popping off, working as a unit in ways that really are just beautiful to watch. Let's see what Paper X have planned here on their attack. In fact, DRX tried to
I have a
take
neck
fight
pain
to
as well.
them,
I'm not
like
going to
the
play today.
Headhunter
And I said that
Sheriff play
before
on
I
middle
even
from RB and
started
Buzz,
watching.
but they're pushed back by the smoke. Now it's time to go to the B plan.
Yesterday I played like 5 matches, and that's not
close
nothing.
As well. So pushing through this, there's a chance for a double stun as they're going to make it in, and they're just stuck. There's nothing they could do. He had a gravity wall to slow them initially, and then also the trap to slow them down even more. It means getting out of here has been so difficult. What? Okay, Stax is going to find a couple of kills. I'm going to need to see that one again, because they have just shut this push down like there was no one there in the first place.
They're trying to deal with Mako down below. They're so focused on him and the player backside that
I
Stax
don't.
just swings
I
out
just
up top,
don't.
takes a double instantly. And what a beautiful setup. I mean, DRX had played from middle. Let's take a look at this. Oh, that's
I'm live for
it's
2 hours,
lining
so I'm
up
watching
as
Val for 2 hours.
And yeah,
right
so
now.
what I was going to say is DRX played for this at the start, right? They go through mid, they take that fight, and the reaction from Paper X was very quick. They realized these guys are fighting middle. They're not going to have
I have neck pain. I don't want to.
So
I don't
A
want to
should be
look
the
up.
weakness. Let's
I'm
go.
gonna
Let's
look it
rush
up.
on
Oh,
in.
fuck off.
But the utility that was there to slow
Like,
down the A push, you could see that DRX were ready for that kind of reaction out of Paper X.
Yeah, the grab wall trap is there again. And I don't really blame them, because getting rid of it's so difficult. If you're being moved away by the
Yesterday,
gravity wall,
6
if you
matches
manage to
played.
get past it, you don't have time to turn and shoot the trap, because if you turn, you get
6
pulled back.
matches.
That's the beautiful thing about it, right? You have the trap there. As soon as it gets contact, grab well. You've got one
Fake,
guy probably
no,
stuck
40
in front,
minutes
and that's
is an
exactly
average.
what happened. They smoke up, they grab well, they
6
kill the guy.
times 40
There
is
is literally no reaction that you can make
divided
to
by
that.
60
The only
is
way to
4
get rid of that
hours.
is by burning that
I was
util
live
early.
for 3
And
hours
that,
yesterday, I think.
Obviously, they were going for a fast
3
play,
and a half.
reactive play, playing into DRX's hands. And with
So
a pistol under
yesterday,
their belt,
even I
you know,
played more Vel
Paper
than
X
I
make the right
watched.
call here in taking an eco, but this sets it up for a very, very tough half. It'll be 11-3 down.
Day before I was
They're
just
gonna try
down
to get
because I was
something done
in
here. They've
Diamond
got
3. I needed a
potential with
mental
2
reset.
players on
That's why I
B.
didn't play.
On
Said
the
that
way
before.
through, a quick dash.
Before 4 matches again.
They slow it down. They group up.
They managed to get
5,
some
9,
space
4,
here.
5,
A lot
5,
of damage
5.
being done. Buzz stuck in the back corner. If they can isolate him, they're going to plumb, but that's a lot easier said than done. Oh, this man is
I
on
need to
fire
do a lot
today.
of aim training
I can
tomorrow,
understand
though.
why there's a lot of people not wanting to see the killjoy
At
as
least
much.
like 1
Even
or
though it's
2
fantastic, like, he's
matches,
24 and 6.
1 or 2 hours
At
of
this point, you
game
really
left
cannot
or
make
some.
an argument against it. And so many of the kills did come from it being Chamber. From the fact that he had the headhunter to switch to, from the tour de force that he had to enter and open with. This right here, though, the fact that that was a headshot, Mindfreak only needed a body shot. He was low HP, but it didn't matter. That guy could have been 150 with a Vandal, and he would have went down.
I do love how Stacks reacts the same way I do every day.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow!
Yeah. It's over.
Our favorite words,
They're
technical
actually gonna
pause
win
up
this.
the top, and I think for Paper Rex, I'm going to take a moment to get a little bit cerebral with this one, have a little thought process. Because, look, 11-3 down, this has got to be flawless. 10 consecutive rounds to win, and they can only afford to lose 1 if they're going to push to the OT. Flawless from start to finish. And on the attack
I haven't
side,
played one
up
match
against an
yesterday.
explosive comp like DRX, it's not going to be an easy thing to do. Again, we get to this point of every game that, you know, follows this sort of train. You think they save up their ultis and just explode them all onto one round. We already saw what can happen in the previous half when they did that with 4, and it was,
Nice playing
it was
cringe, yeah, true.
Yeah, they're
Finally something we
incredibly good
agree
at
on.
winning rounds when they have their ultimates available to them. So it's something that always seems
No,
to be
that's
utilized
cringe.
well. And
I don't wanna have that as
just
well.
with the way that each of their sort of star players, or at least in the form of Buzz, has been popping off. He's
Not
just earning
like
his ult so regularly
having
that
fun
you know
with that.
eventually he's likely to take a round over the line. Now, on the other side of things,
Oh,
again,
fucking
like,
hell.
this needs to be about as clean as can be. Don't allow anything to come through on the other side. Don't allow them to even like get close to
don't have
stealing
it, yeah.
some of that
Easy,
weaponry
man.
away and reducing your
Still
economy,
have it.
because it could come down to just one blip on the radar and that's it. You're in that lower bracket, and I can tell you now, it doesn't get any easier from there.
That's one of the lighter tech pauses that we have. Just someone adjusting their in-ears. Needs to get the earlobes warmed up, massage them out, get right back on into the game. You know, it happens sometimes. It is actually kind of weird, like, right, when you have those headsets on.
Is that another job for Sideshow? I saw him have the hard hat on. Is he also the earlobe massager?
No, actually, we get Bren for that.
Bren, okay.
Yeah,
is he the gentle one and Sideshow's a little
exactly.
bit more?
Sideshow, we tried
He's
him
the
out,
guy with
but
a hammer.
Yeah, we had some complaints. You know, it was more of a chiropractor than a massage. So, yeah, at 11-3, you know, sitting back, taking a moment to breathe. It's DRX, in fact, that had this tech pause. And I'll tell you what, let's talk about the mental ramifications over on Paper Rex. They're trying to hype themselves up coming into this buy round, and now they've got to take a pause. Remember, technical pauses, right? You ain't got to be talking too much.
Nah, it doesn't.
Keep it
I
quiet.
did that before because I thought as well. Because when I'm like going into it and like doing
something
stuff,
that's
it
kind of
goes away.
hanging over their head.
Just
But
got
last time that
worse.
we saw DRX play this exact round,
I honestly just need to
they
chill
had a tour de
today.
force.
I'm
This
trying
time
to
that
go
won't be there to
live
work with,
early
although
tomorrow
I would
though.
challenge that
I'm
saying,
gonna
he
try
got one kill last
to because I'm gonna
and
go
he
to bed
does have a
early
headhunter,
today.
I can tell you that much.
Early.
And a Spectre
1 or
as
2
well.
a.m.
You're
probably.
also going to have RB likely trying to take some ground alongside him. That's the thing. This composition from the ones we've seen in the last, maybe on Haven, there was arguments that
What
was
did I want to
fairly
say?
aggressive in the manner of which it played. But
Ah, yeah, I'm gonna go
allows
early
you
to
do
bed
that on multiple
today.
fronts. And then you have that double
Shops are gonna be
initiator
opening
to
in tomorrow,
basically
so I'm
set
gonna
them
go
up with
to
information
grocery
and a
store,
controller that allows you to set traps. Like,
get
it
some
really
stuff,
is a
and then
nasty
go
combo.
live at like.
There is a good reason
I
why we're
hope
seeing
around
a
2 or
few
3 p.m.
players like Sugar
and
Zero
just
as
play
well,
well.
like bring that Astra back into play, because it,
I don't know
does
which
still
way.
have aspects that other
what
controllers
teams are
just
playing
don't
tomorrow.
have available to them. That's stopping power on a site. Almost the addition of a Sentinel
both
to
to be
go with
done.
your smoker. Yes, you have to be an incredibly intelligent player to use those stars as well as you can. But I feel like someone
Are
like
both
Marco
teams
can do it
today
all.
made
We've
of
seen him have a
tomorrow
fantastic
made of
vibe. His
today's
Viper on
games?
Icebox, probably the best performance I've seen in the tournament so far. Like, he was
Like lower
entry
bracket
fragging
and
as a
upper
Viper.
bracket
Sure, that
stuff?
may not have been solely down to the agent, just him in general, but it's more so like he's 15-4. He's like 4 times so far in 14 rounds. Like, he is just a rock for this squad. Whether it's and that's the thing as well. That was on the attack. So a lot of the
Even
time
if I
you're
don't go
gonna be on
live
the
at
lurk, you're gonna be that player
around
getting
2 or
caught
3,
out
I'm
just
gonna
setting up
play
the
2 or
utility.
3.
You literally have to
I'm
go
gonna
into a
play off
natural
stream
form
even
somewhere on
though
the map and
I'm
hope
not
that someone
going
like
live.
Forsaken isn't
Maybe,
pushing you.
probably not.
And that's
Probably
how
I'm
good
going
the
live,
default
but
was from DRX. That this
just
man only
like
died
you know,
4 times.
maybe.
Yeah, the fact that, you know, Buzz being the point of contact died 6 and has 24
same, man. I'm gonna
frags
do it.
is just something else. Yeah, I like it, man. You know, I said the mental ramifications of it, right? You want to get into the round, play the buy round, and get the ball rolling. The other team is a tech issue. slows it all down. But this guy's taking it in his stride. Benkai just reclining back the chair, showing off the jersey. It's a nice jersey.
I've heard that we're getting our second change of the day. Obviously, we're switching out the Inez now. We're getting back into it. The first change was obviously when he had to take off all of his gear earlier.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was quite an entrance. Quite an entrance, it has to be said. The game is ready to roll now. Players have Q-tipped their ears out. Don't do that. You're not supposed to. It's actually bad for you.
Feels nice.
It does feel nice, though, so it's a bit of a trade-off. Push out from Paper Rex, and okay, 2 quick kills. Starting out well, but Buzz is able to trade back, and with just the Spectre in hand, he won't win that ranged fight. Paper Rex are ahead, 2-man advantage to play with. Mako's a danger man here, but they've dealt with him right away.
Yeah, they were expecting it. I don't mind the idea, especially with DRX, basically knowing that their opponents have just had to stew for a while to come in with basically an incredibly aggressive attempt on their defensive side, like making the same play that Forsaken attempted in the previous half, and yeah, it doesn't work out, but you're playing with some weaker weapons, so it's not going to really be the end of the world. And okay, Forsaken, I think he just had a jump scare. just got a little bit of a shock. Nice shot from Zest. Now bear in mind, he's managed to pick up a rifle. Any damage he does is going to make things easier for them in the coming round, but also he can just opt to try and fix this. I don't know if he'll expect Mindfreak to just be sitting on this corner, though. Bit of an obscure angle considering the plant is on the other side of the map.
Yeah, but he evidently expected Mindfreak to be somewhere around there, though, because he was being very cautious of the angle around B main, but yeah, a little bit too nasty of a spot tucked up in. 11-4 we go. Paper Rex finding that round is, I mean, what we needed to see, obviously. But like you said, DRX didn't have a lot to work with there. Now the full buy comes into effect. Buzz 1 away from a Tour de Force. Stacks 2 away from the Seekers. On the other side, though, I see Forsaken's got his Blade Storm in the back pocket. But on a full buy round like this, I don't expect we'll see it. I think that's just going to be kept in reserve. You know, break glass in case of emergency kind of thing.
Yeah, unless it comes up as some sort of clutch scenario.
Of course,
I'd be very surprised, but RB already getting the information that they're challenging for mid. This default almost involves just holding on to this control, completely reliant on the turret to spot anybody getting aggressive, and you do have the traps, which are going to give information, along with everything else that's being put into play. The drone managing to tag one. You also had the Tiger making sure that nobody had made it up short. This is the thing with running this double initiator. You just know so much of what's going on the map all at once.
Yeah, a ton of information to play with. Paper X on their way up through mid, now being spotted out by the trap. And DRX are holding it. You can see that Zest is on the stairs, ready and waiting. Buzz inside the alleyway, but Paper X, well, they're leaving their options open. Spike retrieved, the player's starting to back out and move towards short. That's where RB's going to have a challenge in just a moment, and he's gone down. Paper X open it up. They move towards the site itself. Paranoia catching nobody. And Mako gonna play around his own smoke. They know exactly where he is. He's staying alive for now, at least destroying the recon as well, and Stax is already causing a distraction. This is getting a little scary. They're forcing the spike plant, but Mako is still causing damage in the back lines. A third, or second, in fact. Of course, Stax got the other, but that leaves Paper X in a pretty tough spot. 30 HP at least. It should be an easy kill, but 10 seconds left. Time is a huge constraint, but they found him. It comes a lot closer than they would have liked, but in the end, Paper X still walk out with the victory.
This is sort of what I mean, though. It almost reminds me of when you watch, like, Nats on his Cypher. Like, he's just popping those smokes to give him extra space to maneuver around and just reclaiming basically different angles to try and take fights. Like, it was an incredible job done by Marco to buy time, but on the other side of things, Paper X do very well just to clear all of those players attempting to rotate in. And, well, Benkai, after an incredibly slow start to this game, finally coming up with a big round for Paper X.
Yeah, I mean, Benkai did such a good job because the
they
two
come back
players
from this is like something else.
Stacks,
Paper X is doing something like with playing bad in the first like half of the game, and then they come back completely from an unwinnable scenario. So weird.
Tiny little headshot angles closes it out for the team as well. Now with the 5th round on the board, they force DRX onto an eco, and with that eco, DRX have given up A control. They'll fight back in afterwards. They have Seekers, they have the Tour de Force.
Oh, yeah. Tour de Force already activated, so Buzz want to try and get something done in this round. Likely to just try and hold main as maybe the rest of the players push in, have that extra little bit of range. Dash completely blinded even in a smoke, but Forsaken will be able to find the kill. Trade's coming back and forth. Buzz has managed to find another one. Doesn't get anything more though. Jing does well to close him out. Trade's coming back and forth, leaving just one man standing. Zest trying to close the distance with Benkai holding strong. 6 for Paper X, still a way to go. And of course, this is where the buy comes back.
Yeah, only the shoulder shots in the end there. It could have been a lot closer if Benkai took a headshot, but it would have been the rifle retrieved as well. 11-6 on the board. Paper X, they started a decent comeback over on the previous map. Sometimes it almost feels like a matter of time though, and coming into this round, this is where things could change for the worse. For the primary reason, it's something we brought up in the first half when RB was like 0-4. Where Satyr's saying, look, first of all, he's going to get better. And he's been kind of going 1-to-1 ever since. Now he's got the operator on.
Are we in Harry Potter?
RB off is scary. They're avoiding him to start with. And what? Forsaken's already on the site. Well, that's a retake for DRX in the first 2 seconds of the round.
Yeah, he's just gone straight through. The thing is, the rest of the players haven't been able to make their way through with him. They will get themselves the afterplant, but at the same time, the damage has already meant that there's an advantage here. RB trying to check some of the other angles. The Seeker is going to give away that there's a player in this corner. They know that he's waiting, but the shot's not connecting. Mindfreak going to reposition, take a spot below the logs, as now they try to make their move.
It's time to gear up for the retake, and indeed it's going to start with the Trailblazer, but these players making it out of market are going to have a tough time. The headshot angle for Mindfreak doing some work, but the trades keep on coming back into DRX's hands. Only Benkai left on the site does well for the first and the final challenge is his as well. Paper Rex are holding on.
I can't move like this. Oh, my neck.
Huge round and the Red Bull clutch to put DRX onto a pretty weak buy, and they're only 4 rounds behind now, Tom.
Yeah, he was at the bottom of the board in the first half, having a really rough time. I'm thinking like 4 or 5 kills maybe. He's now got more than that already in this half, and in clutch situations as well. This is already going to be a massive confidence booster for him, but more so, they're shutting down what is a lot of the utility. The fact is, we even see like a Cosmic Divide go through there just to try and lock off that boathouse, but the fact is there was no one there. They were all playing aggressively. They were all looking to duel, and again, it's just a straight up fast-paced push, but Buzz seems to get out of there, then takes an elevated angle, and just look at the grab well again.
Like, that's what I mean. What's happening?
The trap. It's just slowing them down as they try and walk through. This is barely even an investment. This is barely anything for DRX, but their setup has left Divide alone.
They did everything right in the previous rounds. The leg work, the hard work done. Benkai, he really put everything into those last 2, and for this to be the round for DRX to win, a headhunter close, the TP back, and a double kill on the side angle for Zest.
What just happened?
That is devastating. Look at this. And he's just out.
Like, how can he miss like that?
Distracted looking
And
at
then
him,
he
and this
gets
is so
2 kills.
easy for Zest.
The trap grab
No one's even looking at him.
one of the most disgusting.
I don't even know why you should still push that. Just go back. At this point, you lose 2 people. Go back. Try another thing. Chill the fuck out for a second.
It away just for 1 round, just because they were going for these fast speed plays. The fact is, though, Paper X are not afraid. They're like, okay, you're not going to do that again. You're not going to slow us again. And straight in is Forsaken. Already Mindfreak finds another. If at first you don't succeed, well, they've tried it again.
This time, a lot more successful. 1 kill through the smoke, yielding huge value with Zest going down. They've eliminated RB. At this point,
enemy remaining.
Well, I got scared for a split second as I went to make that point with 2 kills coming in for DRX. It's looking like Paper X have got it closed out. They don't know that Stax is moving his way all the way around here, but they are still watching, and an alarm bot down as well. I mean, that's just fantastic. They don't even need to peek at Divide's going to do it. Oh, good timing. Catching him staring down at the alarm bot.
Nice.
Good answer back by Paper X, but they need to do this 4 more times. And as we've seen, you know, it's not even about economy at this point. DRX can get it done with the pistols.
Yeah.
I think really the issue is those fast plays, right? When you come up against this composition, they have so much stopping power, and if you try to just...
It's just too late. Like, they come back so late
you
to the
really
game.
need to get that opening, because if they manage to stop
I
your
don't
jet,
get
your whole
why.
team's stuck behind util, and that's what happens when you try to go back
It's
through.
also where DRX decides to put their utility.
done.
As said, like, in the round just gone, they had the traps over on A and a grab well combo. and one in
Except
mid
the bottles,
to
I need
stop
to
them
clean
from
the
just
bottles
replying in
later.
that direction. The round before
AKA
that, they
before I
actually
go
had
to
the first
grocery
beat,
tomorrow.
so that then when you go and push through, you get hit by the trap in the grab well, and there's no way you can move through that. You're just stuck. And that works
gonna
so
say
wonderfully with the
complete
pistols. It allowed all the rotation, and Buzz gets the opener. It's an ideal scenario. This time, they didn't put that there because who's going to do that again? And that's the thing. It's Paper X almost calling a bluff. The problem is you're rolling a dice 4 rounds in a row.
Yeah.
I think that at least once Paper X is going to win one of those dice roll, and that's the worry for me. Is that something that was in that round? Okay, we'll do it again just because they won't do it. But I just don't feel like you can continue to call that bluff. Eventually, you'll get caught.
And we've seen what I feared would be the case looking at these comps. KO finds it so hard to get value by taking utility out because you've got Buzz, you've got Mako, who can be anywhere on the map.
Yeah.
So to cancel their utility, it's next to impossible. To do so reliably and consistently, at least one of them is still going to have it online, and that will buy them enough time to reset over and have the other player activate theirs. I mean, 12-8, a very, very tough attacking side for Paper X ahead of them. It's only 4 rounds, but you're going to see just how difficult that is to make happen. Starting here, RB again going to be on the operator, and look where he is! He even gets Forsaken on the updraft, and Tom, that was the spike. At least they're able to retrieve it. We've seen this strategy before, the TP to try and cause the rotations. They've shown the spike, but they're losing players on the rotate with Jing going down. Now they try to break their way into sight, but there's the utility slowing them, and as they TP in, they are just going straight into Mako's hands. 13-8, DRX are moving on. That is an absolutely dominant 2 maps.
Yeah, they played incredibly well. The defensive side setup is something that teams are going to have to try and counter because those combinations on the entry to the site seem impossible to break down. We, again, look at a team showing us why Astra is still very much an agent that can be used within this meta and to an incredible effect. I don't think it's something everyone can do. I do think it's something that Mako can do.
It is absolutely ridiculous. I'm looking at the scoreboard right now, Tom. Buzz, 28 and 12. Mako, 24 and 9. My man's got 12 assists as well. And with the way those grab wells were going down on the defensive side, it is no surprise. An incredible display from DRX, but Paper X, they came in as the underdogs and they put up a good fight. But the clean play from DRX, combined with some of the individual skill that these players are putting out, I would say it's kind of weird. Because RB, obviously attack side, so on. I'm not actually criticizing or saying it a bad map, but like in a game where RB is not fragging like crazy, you still have so many other pieces and players that can step up instead.
But that's the depth of this roster. We saw in the last map how phenomenal Stax was. It wasn't really needed so much in this one. Had his moments here and there, but you just have so much depth to this DRX roster, so I've enjoyed watching them incredibly so far in this tournament. I will say though, I wouldn't like to be the team that faced off against Paper X in the lower bracket because it was the incredible default and structure from DRX that managed to get them through this game and deny some of these crazy plays coming out from the other side, and also just the individual brilliance. The fact is, Paper X will come in here and show, okay, you can't underestimate us because even if you pick your best map, we might still win it.
We got to give huge props to DRX on the comp switch as well. I mean, what they came in with here today, it worked perfectly against what Paper X had planned. They thought they could pull out something surprising, but DRX adjusted, and they walk away with another match in the upper bracket. They're safe for now.
Yeah, it's the first time anyone's taken them close so far, though. Like, Zeta and NIP both got absolutely banged out. So I think we've seen the full power of DRX. We've seen some of the depth that they can show when they need to bring it. But yeah, I think that no matter who either of these teams face off against, they're going to have to take them very seriously. It is not like Southeast Asia are just out of this because they lose one game to DRX.
Absolutely. A team like DRX are favorites coming in here. They're looking to be one of the cleanest teams that we have on display. Hell, I would pay top dollar for DRX Loud. I want to see that game happen. And some of the cerebral play, we've seen them willing to swap up comps now, play the game completely differently. And if you're telling me that that's your, well, I'm going to say your B plan coming in, or at least one of your comps, one of your two, and you're able to play it that cleanly, I mean, it looks like they've been doing this for years. Looks like they've been playing Astra on this map before she even came out.
Yeah, I've enjoyed them thoroughly, and I think definitely going forward, there's probably still more to come. Like there are going to be maps that I think that they've banned out in the past that they're now showing to be incredibly good ones. Like think about Bind. They've just had to play against a composition that no one else is really running. They handled it incredibly well. So yeah, I think the DRX are definitely one of the teams to really watch in this tournament. And every time we seem to go through, we've sort of had them as like a favorite. And it hasn't really happened for them. This time, I feel like people are looking at them going, I'm not really sure. But each performance, I think they prove how good they are.
You know, it's funny, we had that poll before we started.
Are you talking about Paper X right now or DRX?
People swinging roughly towards DRX. Looks like 70% of
Oh,
y'all
we got another poll.
So let's see.
So, okay, Marco, yep, a great map. Buzz, Jing, I would even say he won the map. And then we got Viking Benkai. Now, I feel like someone might be trying to slightly sway this vote for humorous purposes, but you know what? I'm going to be going with Marco anyway.
Yeah, I think, look, Buzz, he got a lot of work done. He had an incredible start to the map, but Mako, it's just a consistent
not an
play
extension
start
where
to
you can
finish.
add a link
Doing it
onto
on
a
the Asper
certain
as well.
point
It was
of the
so
picture?
pivotal on the utility.
Great off Haven too.
And he's hitting all the shots, and that's the thing, right? The map that they lost still stepping it up. This has been an incredible display from DRX.
Like it
And now, I
recognizes
think
where
everyone's
the
gonna be
QR
scared of
code
this
is,
team
for
moving on
example,
in the upper
and
bracket.
puts a
But
link
speaking
onto
of
that
moving
field.
on, there's a
When it's
lot
gone,
more
it's
Valorant
gone.
to happen here today, Tom. So let's get the hell out of here. Let's get things on over to the analyst desk right after this break.
Oh my god. Who the fuck doesn't play with a mouse pad, dude? Like, no one. I'm really interested about guard versus optic, to be honest. I'm gonna do a short break. I'm gonna get some pressure. See if I can do something against my neck. Then we're gonna go into the
Wenn's beim
second map.
Zähnezeigen blitzt, liegt's an Listerin.
Second
Erreicht das Unerreichbare.
matchup.
Essensreste in der Zahnspange?
Dude, I can't
Ganz
talk
easy
today,
wegspülen.
literally. I
Denn
don't know what
Listerin
the
macht da weiter, wo die Zahnbürste aufhört. Und jetzt neu,
Not that my
Listerin
face is
Clean
just
and
the
Fresh.
color of whatever's on screen.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm falling asleep.
Are you on PC?
That's why I needed to come back to PC. But I have my blanket and chair, and when I have it, I'm falling asleep
Yeah.
falling asleep on chair. What do you mean with yeah? I didn't even finish my sentence.
Because you did yesterday. And not yesterday. When was it? I forgot. 2 days ago, I think.
Nah, I didn't.
Okay, I'm gonna be right back.
See ya, man.
Yeah.
See you.
Paper Rex has not played yet, chomping at the bit, ready to fight. And DRX is coming out of groups red hot, showing no signs of stopping. Who comes out victorious today?
A gorgeous round from Paper Rex. We compliment the aggression on the defensive side, but they have just taken it to a whole nother level. That was a beautiful play by Mind Freak.
Spike down. C. One enemy remaining.
Wow! Closes out the game! Absolutely sensational! 13 to 10 for Paper Rex. What a way to close it as well.
This kid is nuts.
What up, guys? What up? One enemy remaining.
DRX are going to claim their opponent's map choice just as Paper X did before. We take this 1 to 3. Okay, Buzz. Okay.
He's not even doing it with the tour de force. Around he gets it. That's the 4th kill. DRX are moving on. That is an absolutely dominant 2 maps.
And that was absolutely a thrilling Prime Gaming post-match highlights there.
Yeah, that one slapped.
The emotion, the passions there, I don't even know where to begin. But, you know, yesterday our #1 seeds came into playoffs hot, taking the wins, but today, could we be flipping the script? Well, that's the script DRX wanted and achieved, knocking PRX to the lower bracket. Jess, flip the script, man.
I mean, I thought maybe all of the first seeds. That's meant to be the whole story about the format now. Is that these seeds, these upper seeds, come in and they are quote unquote the stronger teams. That doesn't take anything away from Paper Rex, and I don't want to detract from that because they played an excellent game. They won each other's map pick. It came to the decider. They put up 8 rounds. I mean, this wasn't a blowover by any means, but my goodness, some of the depth that DRX had to pull out to be able to pull out this win, you have to, just capitalize on that as a viewer and go, that's high-level Valorant.
1000%. You know, it felt like that ace on bind broke PRX. Like it just absolutely shattered their mental, and there was no recovering from that because it was some of what we highlighted on Ascent. While it did get a bit better towards the end, they were playing differently. It felt like they were playing a bit more reserved, a bit more scared, and then even when there was aggression, it felt like it was just trying to unlock Forsaken, which is great, right? Like, put your star in a position to deliver, to make plays for your team, but it was not the same cohesion across the board.
This round 19, you're probably looking at it and going, oh yeah, that was a nice thrifty for them. That's awesome. Well, I mean, I've been tracking a bit of their, economics. I'm a bit of a money lady myself, so, I like to count the cash here and there. Unfortunately for DRX, they have to full buy to get over 80% of their round wins. They struggle to win half buys. I don't even think I have one recorded eco win throughout this tournament thus far. So just in this tournament, they're one of the worst conversion rates for half buys and ecos out of any team. And I always thought that was really crazy considering they're a team that was dominating their opponents. So I was like, okay, they got a thrifty. They've been struggling to do it. This is progress. So if you're a DRX fan out there and you're like, they're smashing their opponents, I'm like, yeah, that's all well and good, but they're doing micro, strength additions here and there that I'm really enjoying. And thrifty round here and there might not seem like anything, but for DRX, it is a lot.
Yeah, and really quickly, we have our amazing Kakuka, and she is on the Telestrator, and I believe she's going to be taking a closer look at some great plays on Haven. So take it away, girl.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Yeah, Paper Rex might have not get the win today, but they've gotten something that no other team has gotten this far, and is a map out of DRX in this competition. So I wanted to take a look at Haven because we were thinking about, that Reyna, especially, how is that going to work on the defense, knowing that DRX, they love the set strats, they're really strong, and especially against the setup division on their previous performance. This situations where they're so close to their ultimates, we need to look at the side A. And if we look also at Paper Rex, they do have a lot to counter this. They know that they have to be extra aggressive. They know that they have to perform that comeback. And I want us to take a look at the mini-map here. If we see, we don't only see Mindfreak ready to go in for the push, of course, we have Reina and Jed doing the same to just counter as quick as possible the aggression that they know is going to come if they've done their homework. So be ready, because if you blink, you're going to miss it. The round is going to begin, and we have to take a look. We're going to be looking for Jing's perspective, and I want to take a look at what Divide does here. He pops his Hunter's Fury, and the first strike is going to hit onto Window, because he needs to set that ground free, so Mindfreak can actually, you know, go on the push and actually support the rest of the players. Just going in, get the first one. Still, they're going to be moved around by the Hunter's Fury. Jing is trying to get the next one, but just look at where Mindfreak is already. He's on the back, looking for his POV. He doesn't care that he's struck by the alarm bot, gets 2 kills, and after that, he has the cold mind to even think like, I'm 10 HP, I can wait for my teammates, I need to play this slow. Still, the round is not over. And RB is not going to have many chances to get anything done here, even though he retrieves the spike. He has no information on where everybody is. He could be extremely surrounded. So for him, there is just no right answer. He just has to wait, maybe try and pick. But yeah, Benkai is going to be finishing off this round. And it's just, you know, beautiful to see that even with Arena, even with something that we don't see that often, Paper Rex was able to take this map off of DRX. So a lot of teams have much to learn from them. Back to the desk now.
Kokuka, thank you so much for that excellent Telestrator segment. And you started to perk up a little bit there, Doug.
Yeah, because that play that you just highlighted is the exact opposite of what we saw in Ascent. And I think that's what I had such a hard time with.
Yeah.
Like, Mindfreak took proactive space away and acted on it in a way that kept DRX in a really uncomfortable position, and that was just not what we saw. Again, really after the bind ace, it seems like.
Way to be the downer, Doug.
Yeah.
Let's uplift things here a little
Doug
bit,
downer.
just teasing. But yeah, let's check out our Verizon high-speed moment. This will make you smile. It has to go to Buz's 4K on map 3. We were all screaming when this went down, Jez.
The funny thing is that he uses his tour de force, and then he goes, you know what, I'm not hitting the shot. Just grab the SMG off the ground and just run with it, because I can hit with whatever I need at whatever distance. He misses out on the ace. I know he was flashed during that headhunter.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, you're flashed up to high heaven. Okay, let's spam with the Spectre, right? Whatever. Nah, I'm going to toggle over to the headhunter and land a headshot. Right. Perfectly normal.
He had a lot of bullets to run with in his headhunter there. Might have been like 8 he had, I think, in total. So he probably could have spammed away. It hurt my heart a little bit that he missed out on the ace, though. So I think that would have been the cherry on top. But you know what? Buzz dropped so many kills that if we asked more of him, I feel like it's very selfish. It's very greedy at that point.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was almost like the Buzz and Mako show at points. But I believe that we have our results for the player of the match. So let's see if we can pull those up here. Okay, who is your match and MVP? I mean,
that's a dominant win.
It was
too.
the Mako Buzz show. Like I
unlucky
said.
for Viking, though.
Oh, Viking Benkai.
It is crazy to me that we're talking about a roster that has RB on it, and he. How many times have we talked about him in this tournament? Maybe twice, right? Like,
maybe
Mako and Buzz are so out of their minds
I don't know
in this
when they're going to
tournament
start the
that
next
the fact that
match, because I don't want to watch
RB
that
really
much
has
anymore.
nothing left, right? Like, there's just scraps
So
because
you
the rest
feel
of the
like
team
I
is
need to
taking
get
everything
some
else away.
rest.
It's just DRX is in insane form right now.
Okay, and we also have our Verizon post-match interview ready to go, I believe, with Josh and Zest. I'm really excited to hear what Zest has to say. So, Josh, take it away.
Thank you very much, Jackie. I am here with the IGL of the hour, and what a match that was. I'm here with Zest, of course, from DRX, and Jen, our translator. I wanted to start things off by saying that this is your first Masters event, and you've taken such a long break. You had an injury. You've only just rejoined DRX. What are some of the challenges that you've had to overcome in order to get back to the top, both as a player and a leader?
이제 제스트 선수의 첫 국제 무대이기도 하고 부상 때문에 좀 오랫동안 팀에서 떠나 있다가 다시 IGL을 맡으면서 오랜만에 발로란트 씬에 복귀하게 됐잖아요. 좀 이렇게 IGL을 맡으면서 팀의 경기력을 여기까지 끌어올리는데 좀 어려운 점이 있었는지 물어보고 싶습니다.
연습하는 과정에서 이제 실패도 많이 하고 시행착오도 겪고 항상 어려운 점은 있지만 저희가 이 길을 선택한 만큼 감당해내야 할 어려움이라고 생각하고요. 그리고 이렇게 경기를 이길 때마다 그게 다 씻겨 내려가는 것처럼 기뻐서 지금 당장은 힘든 게 없습니다.
I mean, in terms of practice, of course, we had failures, and in terms of
Okay.
results, yeah, we had some
Yeah,
road
my
bumps
neck
here and there.
hurts too bad.
But
I'm
it's
g- I'm
like
just gonna
it's
go
games
offline.
like this when I feel like it's all worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible match. You've
I go
had
offline?
such a spectacular start to this
I can do
tournament,
this.
but you
Okay,
did drop your first map, and it was against the Rain.
I'm gonna raid. Actually, Valorant. If you wanna keep watching. I wish you a good night. Sorry for being so down today. Did a lot. Wasn't feeling really good. Tomorrow's gonna be better again. Okay. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night.